By the way, they did say the same thing to the lady downstairs, and it's coming up on 2 years. So one can always hope for that.
Yep.
Morning, everybody. I'm drugged up, guys. I feel great. Should look good. I'm a weight I haven't been since college.
All right, here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this hump day. So let's just cannonball into the pool and get over it, shall we? How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Nice little guests lineup. One that'll entertain and have fun and make you think. Stick around for that. Magic numbers. Are they getting small? But first, top of the morning to you, Mark. How are you?
I am good. There is a lot to kick around this morning. And hell, we barely have to leave the Sunshine State to do it, David, because some news in Tampa yesterday and the day before. I mean, the last 48 hours in Tampa have been damn near Armageddon with the Bucks, if you ask me. The division is nowhere near settled because the Yankees keep on keeping on. Marlins get off the schneid, but we've got a trade deadline, one of your favorite times of the year. Doesn't matter the damn sport, a football trade deadline, a basketball trade deadline. You don't even follow the NBA the way you once did, and you like the NBA trade deadline. The NHL, where all hell breaks loose, and what the blank is going to happen between now and Monday in Major League Baseball. You know, we had one while you were gone as far as the Red Sox and Nats had a, good old-fashioned horse trade. What do the Red Sox need? A right-handed bat. Hey, I got one. What do the Nats need? A pitcher. You know what? I got one of those. Two young guys moved in the latter part of the week last week. So they started, but nothing else has happened in that sport. But, David, I've got to focus on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What the hell's going on up there?
Well, then is this the first time that now we're going to all the negativity from Bucs Nation has gone pretty much to head coach Todd Bowles? Is now going to be the first time that the pressure zooms in on general manager Jason Light? I mean, it's not Todd Bowles who's not getting these guys signed.
Right.
I mean, if Baker Mayfield and Vita Vea play this year and then get up and leave the Tampa Bay Bucks, I mean, it's going to be Jason Light along with ownership, okay, who said, nah, they ain't worth it.
Well, it's interesting. Sorry, David, but it's interesting because I get on the text line this morning and people, listen to the show throughout the day and make their comments to us whenever they make them. And some days I come up here to do work and I'll actually answer a few texts. I didn't do that yesterday. And I came up this morning about 5 o'clock to set things up and I see, I hate those MFers. Stop buying trash for Man U, which limits the Buck spending fees. Not really. The cap's the cap. Right. I mean, I think that's a lame, no offense to this gentleman, but that's a lame excuse. Now, if you want to say the Glazers are cheap and don't want to overspend on players, that's fair. But I don't think it has anything to do with their ownership of Man U. There are plenty of owners who own teams in that league in the NFL or baseball in the Premier League. I mean, this is commonplace in today's sports business world. I think that's an easy excuse. I'm with you, David. This is on Jason Light. Vita Vea sat out minicamp. He had a hold in. And Todd Bowles, when asked about it, said, this is just business in 2026. Nothing to see here.
And I agree with him, by the way. And at this point, with the way the game is played and all that, 31-year-old Vita Vea doesn't need minicamp. I mean, he doesn't. And listen, Michael Strahan showed up literally 5 days before opening day, his final year in the league. He was in phenomenal shape. He had double-digit sacks. They won the Super Bowl. Okay? I mean, Strahan just didn't need to be there. He knew that. The team knew that. So, to me, and also the fact that Vita Vea wants a trade and now Vita Vea is not going to show up for camp, whatever. Remember, what is the only thing that counts before opening day? The injuries, they really are. I know you hate it. We've got 5 or 6 lines that we've been pounding you with for 20 years. They're true. That's how something becomes a cliche. The only thing that counts before opening day are the injuries. To get back to that gentleman in his text, another reason to disagree is that apparently this isn't anything to do with, Vita Vea and Baker want their money up front, and the Bucs as an organization are cash poor. No. That has to be done more up front with the way they do business across the pond in soccer in more cases than it is on this side with football. So, no, the Bucs have just said to both. Vita Vea wants a long-term deal. The Bucs have said to him, dude, first digit's a 3. We ain't going there. All right, Baker has said, hey, first contract, you got a bargain. In fact, you could argue you've had 2 bargain contracts, 1 year for $10 million and then the 3 for $100. So, it's time to get paid market value. And the Bucs are like, yeah, we don't look at you as market value. And Baker's like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. This just looks like the Bucs want to pay 40 and Baker wants 50. And he's like, screw it. This will be my only chance to get this contract. Here's the other thing. The Bucs do have a franchise tag. They can keep one of these guys next year without doing a thing. And there's nothing either guy can do.
So the other side of the Vita Vea one, I'm sorry. You need to sign him 4 years now. I'm sorry. You don't get these guys, David. That type of, and I understand you don't get quarterbacks either, but hear me out. Really and truly, when you get an elite talent on the line and defense, you keep that player, David. There just aren't that many, to me, game changers that play that position. Let's just look at the Ravens last year. His name escapes me, but you know who I'm talking about. They lost their big plug in the middle. That defense fell apart after that. So now the quarterback one, all right. And I don't just mean you, David. I mean anybody listening to this show, that I'm a Baker Mayfield guy. I would sign Baker Mayfield. But can I just at least look at this logically? Okay, Baker played last year while injured. Baker gets banged around a lot. The style that Baker plays makes him a couple years older than he actually is. And I know David and I live by one rule on this show. Who are you going to replace him with? And that, to me, is Baker's biggest edge. Because Baker's been, Baker for 5 games last year looked like an MVP. By the end of the year, he was a broken guy. What are the guarantees? Which guy are we getting back this year? So I can actually make the case for Jason Light and saying, all right, I'm not giving Baker 50 a year. I can. I wouldn't, but I can make the case.
Okay. But which guy of the two, you've asked the question, which guy do you think you could replace easier, Vita Vea or Baker Mayfield? I think the answer is pretty obvious. Even though there aren't a lot of 6'4", 350 guys walking around planet Earth, I think the answer is you could replace Vita Vea.
Okay.
And so first off, I think as an organization, you have to rank them. Okay, all right, which guy's harder to replace? If we're going to play, hardball here, let's go hard. But here's the other thing. They have both given the Bucs the benefit of the doubt before. They've taken below market deals before. They're saying to the Bucs, hey, we swallowed, softly one time. Now, yeah, we know you don't want to pay us what the market says we deserve. Don't know what to tell you, man. We compromised one time. Time for you guys to compromise. Maybe Vita gives up a year, okay, but I ain't giving up the AAV. And so, to me, Mark, which one financially? Vita Vea, first digits of 3 in terms of yearly salary that you're going to have to pay him, okay? Or Baker Mayfield, first digits of 5. Which one?
Well, look I'm signing one and franchising the other.
Right.
It's just a fact, okay?
Agreed.
I'm trying to figure out which one I want to do. The odds are I would sign Baker and franchise tag Vita Vea. That's what I would more than likely do. But there's part of me that would be looking to sign to, franchise Baker and saying, particularly how this year goes. I mean, that's the other side of this.
Well, Mike Evans 3 years ago, same act, exact same routine. And the Bucs held firm, by the way. So Jason Light has looked a star player who had been producing in the eyes as he was approaching 30 or just became 30. He's done it before with Mike Evans 3 years ago. Mike Evans played out the year, and then Mike re-signed for 2 more years at market value or even a lower. So I think that's what Jason Light's thinking. Jason Light's like, listen, I've played this game before. That the other thing that Jason Light could count on, it wouldn't be good for the Bucs, but what if these guys gets a little banged up this year? What if these guys doesn't have a great year this year? And then Jason Light can go back to one of those guys and say, hey, let's go back to what we were talking about 6 months ago. That deal's still good.
And if Vita Vea goes nowhere as far as negotiations as the year goes on and they get him to play or whatever the case may be, what's he worth mid-October to a team that needs someone on the defensive line? What can you get there? I think that's got to be brought up in the room as well. So a lot going on with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It is interesting times, to say the very least. We've got a pretty solid show lined up for you today. Mark Zinno will join us in the 7 o'clock hour. We'll talk a little Atlanta sports, finish off the division. We've done some Carolina Panthers. We've done some Saints. Now we'll do some Falcons. Seth Everett at his usual spot, and Dr. Roto to promote the Fantasy Football Summit coming August 11th, Miller and Moulton.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real. If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Fantasy football season is here, and there's only one place to get the edge. Join Miller and Moulton for the Dr. Roto Fantasy Football Summit at Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe in Fort Myers. Get championship-winning draft strategies, sleeper picks, busts to avoid, and answers to all of your fantasy questions from one of the nation's top fantasy football experts, Dr. Roto. Whether you're playing for bragging rights or big money, don't draft without this event. The Dr. Roto Fantasy Football Summit at Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe in Fort Myers. Sign up today, millerandmoulton.com. Only one place to get the edge. Join Miller and Moulton for the Dr. Roto Fantasy Football Summit at Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe in Fort Myers. Get championship-winning draft strategies, sleeper picks, busts to avoid, and answers to all of your fantasy questions from one of the nation's top fantasy football experts, Dr. Roto. Whether you're playing for bragging rights or big money, don't draft without this event. The Dr. Roto Fantasy Football Summit at Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe in Fort Myers. Sign up today, millerandmoulton.com. It's too much work, Adam. And we don't have licensing to any music, so I'm not in the mood to have to deal with any of that. But I know what you're saying.
Yeah, when we had the radio company behind us, and they paid the licensing for all their stations, that helped. That made the show better. Appreciate it, folks. It's been hard. It is hard. It will be hard. And but we've got the drugs worked out. So At least I'm numb. Which, depending on how things are going, is not the worst way to go through life.
Just figuring that out now. I've been doing drugs for years.
I was going to say, I wish I hadn't maybe listened to some of my teachers, but
nothing funnier than Casio, who was the Mr. Anti-pot guy. Parents never touched it. He finds out his dad's sick. He finds out when he's like 30 that his parents have been pot smokers. And he was, he walked in with this look on his face like, what the hell have I been told my whole life?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour on this hump day. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Magic numbers are 31 and 42. I mean, training camps just officially opening up this week in all places. 6 weeks tonight, man. Seahawks say to the Patriots, want to do it again? Okay. My only ask of both teams, could you make it a little more entertaining than the first time? And I love me some defense, but come on. That one was oofta. Oofta. Seahawks defense ain't that good. I watched the Rams 2 weeks earlier, put nearly 30 on the board. 2 weeks before that, they put nearly 40. I mean, come on now. Patriots, pick up your game. Let's go. But that's 6 weeks tonight. Never mind 4 weeks Saturday. College football. It ain't a good weekend of games, but it's college football. They keep scoring everything. You can bet on it. 31 and 42. Those are magic numbers, Mark.
David, it's funny that you bring up the opening weekend of college football because there's a couple of games, not the week 0, but there's a couple of Labor Day weekend games. But week 0, David, because today is National Lipstick Day, all I can think of is the Mad Dog. You can't put lipstick on a pig.
So you tell me that you saw that 4-second cutaway and you surmised all of that in that? David, my friend, okay, you need to learn something about life. You put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig.
So that, I thought your time is, it's a lot of national days today, just to get this out. It's National Lasagna Day. Quickly, lasagna, overrated, underrated?
Under.
I agree with that. It was something that it was a staple when I was a kid. My mom would make lasagna, I don't know, every 2-3 weeks. And I think I went years without having lasagna. Maybe I'll make some this weekend. And it's National Chicken Wing Day. And I think that's where our poll question is going to come from. I might just go, hot, medium, mild. That might just be it. I might be lazy with that. I'm not going to get upset and go blue cheese or ranch because it'll put me in a bad mood and I need good mental thoughts on the golf course today. So I'm not going to let ranch overtake blue cheese today and yell at people. I'm not even going to bother.
How important is the first tee shot for you in terms of good mental thoughts in a round of golf?
Well, David, I still at 56 years old, and I don't know if it's jitters, I suck on the first tee. So, and I'm playing so poorly right now that I can't worry about it. And in all seriousness, with everything that's going on, every day on the golf course to me is a good day. I really have. I have changed my mental outlook on the game of golf. That hey, let's make a few good shots. I expect a lot out of myself, but if it's not there, I don't get ticked off.
So you mean to tell me the whole bone marrow thing has changed your perspective of the 5-iron in the fairway? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it has.
Well, good.
It really that's what it does. In all seriousness. So I mean, I played with two guys last week, and one's a banger. He bangs his clubs. He gets angry.
Yeah.
And he's gotten older. And he used to be a really good player. He's not the player that he was 5 years ago.
And he can't handle it.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. And it can be a tough day doing 4 hours with someone like that. Like I don't like it. I'm like, oh, come on, man. None of us are, I'm also of the opinion, even the guys that I play with that are 2, 3, 4 handicaps, you know what? They're not that good. They don't do this for a living. They all did something else for a living, if you know what I mean.
Right.
This isn't their profession. So enjoy it. Let's hope. My hope is that we can do it in 3 hours and 40 minutes. That's really my goal when the day starts, that the two slow guys are behind me, not in front of me. That's about it. It's pretty simple. So, and I think I know what that text was. And I think that's no, we're connected. All right, good deal. I thought for a moment there, you had that panic look like I didn't hook the Camerex up this morning. And I'm like, oh, crap, I didn't, but I left it on yesterday.
Well, since we were boring people with discussions of your golf game, can we bore people with discussions of something happened on my phone like a month ago? You know how you got to put your phone on charge for the night and it's going to, reset itself? You're going to get the newest and latest. Well, whatever it did, now my alarms are totally different. It used to be the easiest thing in the world. Set the alarm, okay, and what have you. Now I've got 2 alarms. They're both off. You've got to turn them on separately. You got to set them. I swear, the easiest thing in the world now has totally baffled me. And so an alarm just went off. The alarms went off when they were supposed to, I guess, but I didn't set one for the middle of the show, and it just went off.
I heard something there. That's all right. We'll get through it.
Totally baffled. You on the first tee, me with setting the alarm clock. I think that shows just how old this show really is.
No doubt. And obviously you had Monday and Tuesday off, had things going on, but a lot of well wishes from people. They really enjoyed Friday's show, which was a lot of fun for David and I. It was a lot of fun to go down memory lane with some people and tell a few stories from the past. So I hope everybody enjoyed it. We had a ball doing it. But the magic numbers, like David said, 31-42, we're getting to that point where one segment almost isn't going to be enough for the great players as we keep doing this.
Yep.
When you get in the lows, like today's a good one. Today, there's obvious, but when you think a little harder, there's a bunch. I mean, there's like 6, 7 Hall of Famers.
Well,
42.
Because now we're getting to the point where you can work all 4 of the major sports in.
Right.
You could start dragging in racers even and their numbers.
Boy, did I get in trouble yesterday.
You didn't do Richard Petty?
We talked about it during the break and I didn't do it on the air. I've not done NASCAR guys at all. David, I did the starting 5 on Monday, and if it wasn't for a listener saying, Cole Trickle won the race, I wouldn't even have mentioned the Brickyard. It is not even a sport to me anymore.
Oh, that's a problem.
Is it?
And by the way, notice I said it's not your problem. I did not blame it on you. Okay, to me, that's if I'm a sport and I had you and I've lost you, then the problem is me. Okay, and I need to figure out why it is I lost you. Now, I didn't have you for the longest time, but I got you for a little bit and I lost you. I got to figure out why I couldn't keep you.
Well, it was funny yesterday. I pulled the nepotism card. I like I told people on the text line, if the Bucks can do it and the Golicks can do it, well then damn it, the Miller can do it too. And I had Jake do 5 segments with me. And his Wi-Fi crapped out during that segment. And I was about to get to NASCAR because we were talking about, I had him. I said, I want you to give me the top 5 college football games of the year in your estimation.
Right.
And our poll question yesterday was of the Texas-Ohio State game, the Miami at Notre Dame game, or the LSU at Ole Miss game. If you could only pick one, what game would you go to? And, to me, it was the LSU Ole Miss game, and that ended up winning. Now, most years, obviously, that wouldn't be the case. But 1, I've never been to the Grove, and 2, to be at the Grove on that day, I think would be a lot of fun. I mean, that would be the game I would pick this year. I've been to Notre Dame. I've never been to Austin. I would love to go to Austin for a game. I've been to Austin, great city. But LSU Ole Miss, to me, if I'm writing down one college football game for 2026 to go to, that's the game.
Okay. All right. I hear you. That Miami Notre Dame game could be one really difficult to pass up because both teams will be favored to have donuts when they play each other. And they played a really good game last year, week 1. And we all know what happened to both teams. So
there's no doubt. There's no doubt, David. I understand. I also think both of them are already in the playoff. That's part of the problem. Miller and Moulton, the Fantasy Football Summit, coming August 11th. The starting 5 coming next.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Fantasy football season is here, and there's only one place to get the edge. Join Miller and Moulton for the Dr. Roto Fantasy Football Summit at Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe in Fort Myers. Get championship-winning draft strategies, sleeper picks, busts to avoid, and answers to all of your fantasy questions from one of the nation's top fantasy football experts, Dr. Roto. Whether you're playing for bragging rights or big money, don't draft without this event. The Dr. Roto Fantasy Football Summit at Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe in Fort Myers. Sign up today, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So I went to the Hooters. Good God. I look at if they sponsor the show, they've got the worst wings on the planet, LW. They're Ethiopian, skinny, awful, breaded crap. And if you get them naked, there's nothing to them. I went to that new Buffalo brewery yesterday and had wings. I've got to go back. The sauce was good. To me, they weren't cooked enough. Yeah, Buffalo's chips. You know, I've gone to Wild Wings, which they owned, and I've not been back in years. Rusty's has good wings. I don't know what to tell you. They do. I don't know how much other food I would eat there. It's right across from Sun Harvest, Jules. It's that new, oh God. It's a brewery, but they're from Buffalo. It's a nice, clean place. I mean, very clean. I mean, it's brand new. It should be. But is it Resurgence Brewery or something like that? Correct. I actually had a beer. It was fine. My wife had a beer. She liked it. She likes her dark beers. And so they had a couple of stouts on tap. The wait staff was good. Yeah, Wicked Wings used to be Buffalo chips, Cavenbaugh. So that's I think they still have the recipe. I think when they bought the place, they got it. Because they tried to make that a Buffalo chips, or I don't know if it was always Wicked Wings, but that was the same owner at one point. So I know that I just remember when I was there years ago, the wings were huge. And I know people like that was a turnoff to me. They were like jumbo wings. I don't even know where you would get them from, but these were Arnold Schwarzenegger steroid wings. I mean, they were just huge. And I don't want a wing that's 4 bites. That's a drumstick. Actually know the person that owns that strip mall that Wicked Wings is in. It's maybe the worst parking lot in Southwest Florida. It is just one large pothole because that's where Wally's is. And I still do Wally's a lot. A big fan, mainly of breakfast there. You can come up here and sit down, Kat. You don't just have to rub on me. No? I don't believe so. Wally's their sandwiches at Wally's are great. The breakfast sandwiches are all delicious. I like their cheesesteak, but now that we have cheesesteak.com, it's impossible to get a cheesesteak anywhere else. Period.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. An hour away from Mark Zinno, 92.9 The Game in Atlanta. Served our country. Strong opinions. A lot to talk about in his backyard. Mark Zinno, 1 hour from now. Seth Everett, Dr. Roto. Well, if we've got Dr. Roto on, then we must have a fantasy football summit in our future.
We do. Sign up now, millerandmoulton.com. It's on Tuesday, August 11th, less than 2 weeks away. We kind of threw this together quickly. There's been a little bit going on between the two of us. So Roto reached out. I tried to get it the following week, but unfortunately the venue was booked and we couldn't get the room. So August 11th, I think 2 weeks is enough time. Get off your heinies, sign up today. I need 30 signups today so I can get Roto off my back. That's all I'm saying.
Have we ever put that on a T-shirt before? Get off your heinies.
No, we've
Huh.
never put it. You know what, David? I really need to get you a T-shirt in the next couple of months. I don't care if we sell them. I just may need to buy you one.
How about this as a marketing slogan for this fantasy football summit? Get off your heinies and get a heinie. No?
I don't like heinies.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter.
I know,
They
I'm
were
just
just
saying, I
trying
think-
to sell
by the way-
tickets to a summit.
No, I understand. But as far as like there was a time, people, Heineken, that was a
Right.
snobby beer back in the day.
Yeah,
Before
well, so
we
was
got into all
Lowenbrow.
the micros, but Heineken stayed the course. Lowenbrow went away. You're right on Lowenbrow. I mean,
Right.
that in the 80s and maybe early 90s, Lowenbrow that it had the foil,
Let there be Lowenbrow.
had the foil all around it there,
Right.
and a
That
nice
was
bottle.
annoying. Yeah.
But
annoying.
But Heineken always was, that's a man's beer. No, really, it's skunky tasting, if you want to know the truth. It's a green bottled beer that's not that good. Now, I will say I had a Heineken when overseas. It was delicious. Didn't taste anything like an American Heineken. But, yeah,
Just a thought.
get off your Heineken.
There you go. That's our slogan for the next 2 weeks. Get off your heinies. Time now for
The starting five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is the starting five.
And we'll start with the NFL. 6 weeks from tonight, the Seahawks host the Patriots to begin the 2026 NFL season. They'll do so with a new owner, and they'll do so as defending Super Bowl champions. But between now and then, well, there's a lot of off-the-field news still. Vita Vea requesting his trade earlier in the week from the Bucs. He's been a hold-in. And now word is filtering out that since Bucs training camp has begun, Baker Mayfield has said, that's it. Don't bother me. Okay, I'm not going to negotiate during camp. You lost your chance. I'm going to reach unrestricted free agency. That's on you. Now the Bucs can franchise tag him after this year, and they can tag him twice for that matter. But we'll see where it goes with both, well, the best player on each side of the ball, Baker Mayfield, Vita Vea. You comfortable with me saying that?
I think it's an accurate statement.
I mean, some may say Tristan Wirfs, okay, on offense, but, the wide receivers haven't stayed healthy long enough. At one point in time, you could have, grabbed one of them, but
I think the offense has a lot of talent on it. That's the problem. I think it's a good, I don't think it's an average offensive line. I think it's a good offensive line. I think even with the loss of Evans, if Godwin stays healthy between Ibuka and Godwin, you've got 2 talented receivers and a third that can play a little bit. You've got a decent running back in Bucky Irving, and you got Gainwell on the backside. Like, I like their offense, but got to have a quarterback. I don't know what human thinks that you don't need one of those.
Well, apparently that human's Jason Light. But Eagles lock up Jalen Carter. He still had 2 years left on his rookie deal. He's a really good player. He's young. He's a destructive force. And so they said, well, we're going to keep you, big fella. And he said, dude, the cap is going up significantly. Do you know how much you're going to have to pay me a year to sign away future years and not reach free agency? And they said, well, you make a dadgum good point. How about $38 million a year with a potential with incentives to make 40? And Drew Rosenhaus said, for a defensive tackle? And they said, yes. And he said, well, hell, we haven't had one of those make over 32 a year. Yeah, we can do that. So that's the extension. 4 and 152 on top of the 2 years that he still had under contract. By the way, he's 25 years old. Think about that. He's locked up for 6 more years. He'll be 30 when his contract ends, he'll technically turn 31 like 2 months later. Wow. Jalen Carter. Man.
And David, come on. You and I have talked about this a million times. With the way the cap's going up, what their future spending is looks like a ton of money now.
And it's not.
It won't be when time comes for that contract to be activated. This is smart business.
In fact, if he stays healthy and he stays in shape and motivated with where the cap is going to go, I'll make a prediction that Jalen Carter, with a straight face, will actually ask to renegotiate this deal 2 years before it's done. That's where we're going. Vikings with a good signing yesterday. You know, they've lost some key people, especially in the trenches on both sides of the ball the last couple of years. Well, they re-signed their right tackle, Brian O'Neill, 4-year extension at $24 a year. That's a good, solid deal. It is. He's hardly missed a game. He's a stud. And he's a big presence in the locker room. I don't think the Vikings went wrong yesterday. I think it was a win-win. This is a little off the beaten path, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. Did you see what Netflix announced?
Yes, I did. I did.
Netflix announced Luke Kuechly as their lead analyst. Well, I find one or two things interesting about this. They haven't signed, as of yet, one guy to be their main play-by-play guy. They're just borrowing guys from other networks for one-offs. But this, to me, is a statement by Netflix that we're going to be in this NFL thing. We're going to be in it regularly soon. And this is our analyst. We'll find a play-by-play guy. There's a bunch of them. But we tried out guys, and this is who we settled on. Luke Kuechly. It would be interesting if, by the way, the two non-quarterbacks that have reached, big status here lately, both former Carolina Panthers on that Super Bowl team, and neither's named Cam Newton. Greg Olsen and Luke Kuechly. Very interesting. All right, to baseball. Marlins, 7 innings from Alcantara. 7 shutout innings. Kyle Stowers with an early home run. 1-0 Miami over Philly. Marlins get back to 500. They're just 2 out of the final playoff spot. Braves were rained out. They'll play a doubleheader against the Mets today. By the way, Bryce Harper, after the game, said publicly, yeah, Dave Dombrowski, we need help. Go get it. Okay? I love when players do that, by the way. I'm sure bosses don't like it, but then again, Miller and Moulton have always been the kind who have spoken up publicly and had their bosses not like it.
And it worked out so well for us every time we did it.
Yes, it has.
Rob Ellis, it's funny. I don't know if Alcantara would end up with Philly because it's in the division, but was that a tryout last night? Because I literally don't know what the Miami Marlins should do, David. I don't. I look at it like the Mets. How often are they going to be bad with what they spend? I know they're your team and you can go to history, but when you spend that much, theoretically, you shouldn't suck always.
Agreed.
And, well, the Braves and Phillies are in that division. So how many times, realistically, do you have a shot at the postseason with what you're spending?
Well, also, and right now, the teams you're battling with for the final playoff spot are the Diamondbacks, the Pirates, the Cardinals, the Nationals.
Right.
It's a nice group of teams to go to battle with for 50 games. You're not battling the Dodgers and the Phillies and the Mets and what have you. It's a group that, one good week, you should be able to chase them down and make the playoffs.
They had 2 horrible weeks, and they barely dropped out of the playoffs.
Texas beat the Rays 4-1. Texas has won 4 of 5. Junior Caminero, 2 hits and an RBI for the Rays in the loss, which draws them to within a game and a half of the Yankees. 2 in the loss column, but the Yankees, their postseason formula, baby, their starting pitching, and one big inning, one big hit. Yankees 3-2 over the White Sox. They scored all three in the second. Garrett Cole with 6 shutout innings had enough room to give up a 2-run dinger in the ninth and still win 3-2. Game and a half back, 2 in the loss column. Red Sox lost to the A's 4-3. They're still the 5 seed. Cleveland is the 6 seed. They split a doubleheader with Cincinnati. They won 6-5, lost 2-0. They're a half a game ahead of the Minnesota Twins for the final playoff spot. Twins got to 500. They beat the Royals 3-2 with a Royce Lewis 2-out, 2 RBI triple in the ninth. That's one of those hits that makes you think it's gonna be your year. Big hit. Biggest
I like
hit
triples.
of his career.
I like triples. Triples are fun.
Sports Illustrated did a feature like 15 years ago about how it's the most fun play in baseball. It's even more fun than a home run.
Oh, triple's fun.
Okay.
Because everybody's in action. I mean, because you usually have a play at third. It's, there aren't stand-up triples, if you know what I mean.
Your Tigers scored a run in every inning in shutting out the Orioles 14-0.
Lamar Jackson could never get going in that one.
I'm sorry, what?
Lamar Jackson unable to get going in that one.
Right. The Lions shut out the Ravens.
Yeah.
14 spit. What is it, Thanksgiving? Anyway. Brewers 8-2 over the Giants. Okay, they maintain their 6-game lead on the Cubs, who beat the Cardinals 10-2. Arizona in 12 blew a 6-0 lead, but held off the Pirates 8-7. And right now, these two teams are playing for who's going to be the 6th seed. Arizona now with a 1-game lead. Houston beat the Angels 3-2. They've won 7 of 10. They're just 2 back of the Twins. Or I should say, 2 back of Texas in the division. Padres beat the Rockies 8-7. Bogarts with the game-winning sac fly. Tatis is heating up. He went 5 for 5. Seattle held off the Dodgers despite Ohtani's 3 hits, 3 RBIs, and a homer, 7-6. And the Nats, they're 2 over 500, baby. They're 1 back of the playoffs. They beat Toronto 8-6. How about that bet at the beginning of the year? Late July. Who's closer to the playoffs, the Nats or the Blue Jays?
Yeah, the Blue Jays flat out are going to be sellers, David. They are.
No, unreal. NBA, Draymond Green signs a 1-year deal for $27.7. He basically signed for the tag. They can tag you. He rejected it, gave him room to negotiate with other guys, and then they came back and did the deal that he rejected earlier in the month. Going to be his 15th year with the Warriors, who are only going to have like $50 million on the books next year. They could go nuts in free agency if there's anybody to go nuts on. PGA Tours in Detroit for the Rocket City Mortgage. They've already announced it'll be the last one. Lost their sponsor. Going to lose their place on the championship series in 2 years. And by the way, they got this Japanese investment firm to put their name on a tournament, and they've already announced that tournament's going to be on the championship series in 2028 in Napa. So the spots are
another big city.
Right. Spots are already dwindling. Yeah, I love the whole, we need to be in big cities. You need to be where somebody's willing to give you the $25 million up front, okay?
Damn right. That's
all it's about. Don't insult our intelligence. And it's 7 minutes before the hour. That was the starting 5 big stories you need to know. Is every day at this time right here on Miller and Moulton.
Poll questions up. It's National Chicken Wing Day. How do you like your wings? Hot, medium, or molten? I mean, hot, medium, or mild?
It's cheap. It's cheap. Because, I raised my tipping game and I raised my wing game. Okay, it's the 2 things you've most affected me about in the last 10 years. Miller and Moulton. Stop laughing over there.
Fantasy football season is here, and there's only one place to get the edge. Join Miller and Moulton for the Dr. Roto Fantasy Football Summit at Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe in Fort Myers. Get championship-winning draft strategies, sleeper picks, busts to avoid, and answers to all of your fantasy questions from one of the nation's top fantasy football experts.
Dr. Roto. Whether you're playing for bragging rights or big money, don't draft without this event. The Dr. Roto Fantasy Football Summit at Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe in Fort Myers. Sign up today, millerandmoulton.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Buying or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller with McWilliams Buckley, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move, from pricing your home to negotiating the best deal. I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and a personal difference. That's what I'll bring to the table.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Breaded or not. Yuck. They might shoot you in Buffalo for a comment like that. Oh my God, Left Twix. You're just you're just jerking my bobber this morning. Those are chicken nuggets. If you're 12, have your boneless wings. Both. I actually like drums or flats is actually the way you say it, but I like flats. My wife likes the drums, so I eat the flats. If eaten right, you get more meat and you can eat them just as cleanly. You got to just pull that little bone out. Makes life a lot easier. No, you cannot, Paula. That is a good, at least on the tunnel, you couldn't. Hey, look it. First off, what made me laugh was someone put the DUI or OUI in Wisconsin laws up. Basically, the first OUI in Wisconsin is like a get out of jail free card. They really don't do anything to you. They really don't, compared to every other state in the union. But CBS has an out here, gang. That's the only part of this story that I find interesting.
Here we go.
Right? David cares about this crap way more than I do. I don't know if you guys as an audience get into I watch the game. If the broadcaster's bad, he's bad or she's bad, or if they're good, they're good. Hockey may bother me more than any sport just because I don't like what they've done. And I'm a hockey guy. But, well, it's not whether they should or not. It's now whether they can, Left Twix. It's not whether they should fire him, because I don't think he's good either. But now they have an out and they don't have to pay him with it. That's what matters. Pay him all of it. You know what I mean.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this hump day. Mark Zinno to join us in about 35 minutes' time. Seth Everett in an hour. Dr. Roto in 90 minutes. Our fantasy football summit thrown together. Get off your Heine. Maybe you can purchase one. You know, Heineken's, green lizards. Anyway, all right. It's
did you say green lizards?
Yeah.
I'd never heard that before. Is that what you called a Heineken?
That's what a lot of Heineken drinkers called it. Okay. I know Mandich used to have, it's what I thought he called them when him and Jimmy Johnson would, sit back, crack them, and drink them.
I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm just saying I've never heard that before, ever.
So less than 2 weeks now. It's coming up quickly, but when you think about it, you're signing up for a fantasy summit night. This doesn't take long. And quite frankly, we've never seen or heard of anybody else that does this anywhere. I'll say it again. Miller and Moulton are wrong a lot, got a lot of dumb ideas. I don't know why there's not 500 people at this thing every year. Seriously, how many of you play fantasy football? How much you care about it? How much money you're trying to win? And we put a top 20 expert in the country. This is documented. Okay, how good he is every year. We put him in a room with a microphone to answer all of your questions for 2 hours. Honestly, I don't know why. We did have our buddy from Pensacola flew down for it one year. Okay, and had to fly into the East Coast and drive across the alley. Seriously, if you're into fantasy football, this is as good as it gets. And it's in less than 2 weeks.
August 11th. I just was pointing out that I didn't put it in the ad. That's what happens when you do an ad at 5:45 in the morning.
Well, anyway, 2 weeks away. It's less than 2 weeks away. That's why we don't want you to miss it. MillerandMoulton.com. All right. Have never had somebody say they went, A, they didn't have a good time, and B, they didn't get valuable information, okay, to do well in fantasy. Just saying.
So there you go. Sign up now, MillerandMoulton.com, right there on the front page. Hell, there aren't that many pages at MillerandMoulton.com.
Right.
There's not much that's difficult to find.
How interesting are we really?
Exactly.
It's another slogan for a T-shirt.
Boy, you're knocking them out.
That's about all I'm good for these days. T-shirts, slogans.
So,
all right. There's
all right,
something
go.
that happened. There's something that happened while I was gone. I know you've already talked about it. I'm guessing, I should say. I'm guessing you've already talked about it. All right. The whole Tony Romo OUI, DUI, DWI, whatever the heck it is in Wisconsin.
Well,
Correct.
I had it in the starting five on Monday, I believe. That's it. I didn't, I had guests on the show. David, this is, and I said this before, you are into the announcers more than I am, and this is a discussion. So when you're alone, I can't discuss this with myself.
I
you know what I mean. So, and yesterday we didn't do it. The brief segments that I had, nepotism. So,
fine. Can I ask you and our audience a very simple question? If you were running a network and your announcer went and got a DUI, that's all. There's no violence. There was not an accident. No one got hurt. Your announcer got a DUI. Now, it's a very prominent announcer. So you're running a network, a very prominent announcer gets a DUI. A, do you even consider that a fireable offense? But B, do you think it reaches the threshold where if you fire that person, that the public is going to go, oh, yeah, I knew that was coming, blah, blah, blah. Or will you go, really? That person got fired for that?
I would say, and it's an excuse to get rid of someone that they overpaid, that the public is turned on. No,
that's not what I asked you, though.
I understand, but that's the only reason it is, because to me, it's not a fireable offense.
Okay, but
look, it's a bad move. It's a bad look, but I think CBS of all networks to fire someone over a drinking and driving, to me, is hilarious.
Different ownership, different time. This isn't the 80s and 90s at the Masters.
I got you. Okay, I got you. But all I'm saying is it opens you up then, not just for your broadcasters, but for your executives, for everybody that works there.
All right.
If I'm Tony Romo and they fire me for this, and they're going to try to fire me with cause and not pay me all the money they owe me, I'm lawyering up.
Well, yeah. But this is all different, though, than the very first thing, which is
it's not a fireable offense.
Okay. And yes, Mark, listen, if I was advising CBS, I would advise them to fire him. Do I think he should be fired? No. Okay. But they're unhappy with him. They're stuck 5 more years, 18 a year. Do the math. And here would be my thing. Yeah, I'm going to fire you. You're going to lawyer up. We're going to lawyer up. Good luck. Okay. I mean, good luck. Meanwhile, we're going to move on in a heartbeat. Boom. Greg Olson. Welcome. Here's your number 1 crew job before you go to Netflix next year. Okay. Or I'm sorry, Amazon next year to replace Herb Street. Boom. We grab you now, make you our number 1, get you ready for our next Super Bowl. Boom. That's the first thing I do. And then people aren't going to miss Tony Romo. I don't know if people miss any announcer. Okay. So he'd be gone and he'd go to court. And Tony's fighting for every dime. It's the best he can do is get the $90 million. He ain't going to get his job back. And by the way, no other network's going to hire him.
Nope, he's done. He is done.
Because I don't think Tony would go accept the number 4 job and work his way back up. I think Tony would work on his golf game and try to get ready for the Champions Tour.
Which, by the way, that's not going very well. Because if you see some of his golf scores, he can't compete with those guys.
No.
He can't win in amateur events. He's not even close. So that's a pipe dream for what it's worth.
Totally. I mean, he might be able to win a club championship. That's a far cry from making the tour, never mind being successful on it.
And enjoy Lake Tahoe once a year.
But I am curious. You know the morals clause of all of those big public figure contracts. Does a DUI meet the threshold? I don't think it does. But if I'm CBS, I've been looking for a way to get rid of Romo, because the people in charge now, not the people who were in charge when they signed him to the 10-year deal, including the president of CBS Sports, including the owners of CBS.
Well, and even if it were the same people, David, I think they'd be doing the same thing to look to get out, because you've taught me a lot about what they think. And it's mainly what New York writers write about talent, and that, of the announcer. They, the whether it's the Marshawn column or the Phil Muchnick. I mean, there's about 4 or 5 guys that if they say something, they can turn public sentiment. And when it happens in New York, which is the papers that they read, then, well, that's a big deal. The other one is X, formerly Twitter. Whatever goes on Twitter, my goodness, do network executives pay attention? Well, social media and media writers have turned on Tony Romo. He was the golden boy after year 1. They all make fun of him now.
And CBS is stuck with him for 5 more years. And the word, it pretty much is they're going to move on from him in 5 years. But why would they want to wait? And there's others they could easily see themselves just throwing in that seat now. And trust me, Jim Nantz does not like bad press. And he's now back to getting bad press doing the NFL, which is why Phil Simms went away, because Nantz and Simms were being called the worst number 1 team out there, blah, blah, blah. The number 2 team should be the number 1 team, blah, blah, blah. So that's why Phil Simms got canned. Well, now it's happening again. And this is not how Nantz wants to go out.
Is Nantz done after his next Super Bowl, by the way? I mean, is there any talk of Nantz saying I'm done? Or is he?
Well, Nantz just signed a long-term deal. The question is whether CBS is going to keep him as the number 1 on football for the whole deal. I mean, they can just overpay him to do golf. I mean, they took basketball away from him and didn't deduct his pay. They just said it was time for Ian Eagle to have more on the plate. He's been a good employee. Here you go, Ian. The college tournament's yours. I mean, if you notice, it's not like Nantz is doing. I mean, Nantz doesn't do any of the college tournament anymore.
Nope.
Man, it's not like he just moved down to number 2 and, he said, well, if I ain't number 1, no sense me working. So listen, I don't think what he's accused of meets the threshold of getting fired. I think there would have had to have been a lot more to it. I don't think all this video stuff that's being released, it makes Tony necessarily look good. I think that's something that CBS is okay with. And if I were CBS, though, I'd pull the plug and I'd let both sides lawyer up. And literally, I'd say to my lawyers, hey, man, every dollar you can save us, well worth it.
I just like the video that I've seen, the AI-generated video of Daly ripping a dart with Tiger and Romo in the back of the Uber. That's what I've gained out of this. I've gained a little fun on TikTok from seeing videos of Tiger and Romo in the back of a car being driven by John Daly. That's what I've enjoyed.
I actually think Romo can turn this into advantage. Okay, we like when people are dropped down a few notches when they admit a mistake, and if they can be self-deprecating, which he can be, and be likable when doing it. I actually think Romo can more than recover from this. Okay, but especially with 5 years left on a contract. It's a long time. We'll be playing 18 games by then.
Miller and Moulton, what do you think? Pelican Roofing of Florida text line 21,000 is the number. Keyword is Miller. The Fantasy Football Summit, August 11th. Sign up, millerandmoulton.com.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Buying or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller with McWilliams Buckley, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move, from pricing your home to negotiating the best deal. I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and a personal difference. That's what I'll bring to the table.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. Thanks for joining us. Mark Zinno coming up in 15 minutes' time. National Chicken Wing Day. How do you like your wings? Hot, medium, or mild? That's our poll question today. And, well, a few other things. We got Mark Zinno coming up. We got Doc Roto coming up. We've got Seth Everett coming up.
When did hot wings become the way to have your wings? Because growing up, I didn't think they were. I thought if you ordered hot wings, you were the exception. It's like, a group of 5 of us go out and we're going to have wings, and one person at the table would have hot wings. Ooh. Okay, now I sense that the majority of the table has hot wings, and if you order mild, they darn near throw stuff at you, but, you can get away with sitting at the table if you're medium, but, man, you may want to try your hot wings. That's the way you want to go. That's what I sense when I go out. Am I wrong?
I think spicy's been a thing for, at least 20 years.
Right. Well, but
no. I'm just saying.
Hot is, that's different than spicy, but I think I see where you're going. So you think we went from making our food spicier and then, well, let's just go hotter with our wings.
Right. But we like, we like hot. As a rule, David, from when, obviously things have changed. Things since we were kids have changed. But you're a little different. You lived close to New York City. The ethnicity around you was far greater than what I grew up with. You could go to the city and do things that I could never have done in Saginaw, Michigan. Right. You could barely get Chinese food in Saginaw, Michigan, for crying out loud. Okay. So we've changed what we eat, but right. I'm trying to think when buffalo wings or chicken wings even became popular. The first time I ever remember probably having them was maybe the first time I went to a Hooters. My uncle owned a restaurant, and it was a popular restaurant in our town. It was a nice restaurant. And he had as an appetizer, they called them wingdings back then. That's what they called them. Buffalo wings weren't a thing in the late 70s to early 80s. He had an appetizer, or, he had for his catering things, and it was just drums, and there was no sauce on them. They were just fried chicken drums. And I'm trying to think when I had, when I went to a place and had chicken wings for an appetizer, and I would think it may have been college by the late 80s, early 90s. Now, if you're from Buffalo, I get it. I'm not trying to fight and say you can tell me they've been there since 1947. I don't give a damn. I'm saying around the rest of the world. And then all of a sudden, a few wing chains became popular. That spread. We now have people moving everywhere. So early on, a lot of places had, like someone said, your poll question should be breaded or naked. What is this? What are you, a child? You want chicken nuggets with that too? How about some barbecue sauce? We're talking about buffalo wings here. There's no breading on those. They'd laugh you out of I think in Buffalo, they'd laugh you out of the place. You go to one of those places there.
I think it happened early this century. Okay, maybe late 90s, but I'm thinking the hot. Okay, the hot. That's because now I feel like that's the dominant answer. How do you like your wings? Oh, well, no sense getting wings if they're not hot. Oh, I don't know. You couldn't. I don't know how many times I've had hot wings. Because remember, it used to be the challenge. You'd go to these places. You could eat our hot wings. They're free. All right, let's give it a shot.
But they, and then, some of the chains, they've gone over the top. Like hot wings to me are not, they're good. They're flavorful. I don't need this.
Right.
Ghost pepper, habanero, explosive diarrhea wing. I don't need to have a wing and run to the John right after I have it.
Right. Hey, Moulton, what's going on? My tongue is lying on my plate and it's yelling at me because the wings are too hot. Right.
All right. Magic numbers, David. 31, 42.
Yep.
There, we'll get to the big 42s. But I was going through pucks and trying to find the hockey guy out there, like Forsling for the Panthers. He's a 42, good player. There's not a lot of great players that wore 42 in hockey. In fact, I'm struggling to see what I would call a great player who wore the number, unless I'm missing somebody. But I've got the list in front of me, and I've gone through it a couple of times, and I'm not seeing anything. But that's about the end of that. Because out of the three big sports in our country, I would say football has probably, of the three, I might go the 42, the worst 42s played football. If you were to compare them all. I mean, one great one. A great one.
Oh, Roddy Lott.
Exactly. Paul Warfield wore 42. Hall of Famer.
Did. Oh, yeah.
You got to go back. This is in Moulton's, wheelhouse here. 60s to mid 70s. But Charlie Taylor wore it for the Washington Redskins.
Yes, he did. I thought there was also a quarterback back in the day, a famous quarterback. Who wore
well done. Sid Luckman wore 42.
Thank you.
There you go. So, yeah, I mean, and, so Chuck Muncie, not in the league of the guys we're talking about, but you remember him, the glasses. You remember him more for the glasses than you do for the number on his jersey.
And just being a part of Air Coryell, that offense was so fun to watch. Now that offense is 2nd and 6. Okay, but back then that offense was like, I can't believe what they do.
But, all right, let's go hoop next.
All right.
Because, Showtime Lakers, baby. James Worthy.
Oh, you're going Worthy first. Okay. All right. I love it.
But you can go way back.
Connie Hawkins.
Yep. For those more recent, he's not in the league of these guys, in my opinion, but Kevin Love wore 42.
Yeah. Okay. It's a solid bronze medalist.
Yeah,
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then you really have the big two. The big one, and then another one who's an all-time great. Jackie Robinson. It's obvious. You can't even wear the number in the sport anymore.
Right. The last person to do so was the next guy.
Right. Mariano Rivera. So, I mean, that's there you go.
I mean, you could start getting into the great, Ron Kittles and Tony Armises of the world, Mark. I mean, I'm obviously joking, ladies and gentlemen. All right. But, yeah, Jackie Robinson. And then when Bud Selig, probably the greatest thing he ever did as commissioner, all right, honoring Jackie on the 50th anniversary of him breaking the color barrier in 97 and saying from this point forward, no one else will wear number 42. And I think at the time there was less than 20 players who were wearing the number. And he said, you can wear it until they're done with you. And the last guy of that group, he pitched nearly 15 more years, was Mariano Rivera.
Which, by the way, how cool is that? No one can wear the number anymore. And not only do you get to wear it, but you're great. And
yeah, maybe the greatest, by the way, at what you do.
Miller and Moulton.
Fantasy football season is here, and there's only one place to get the edge. Join Miller and Moulton for the Dr. Roto Fantasy Football Summit at Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe in Fort Myers. Get championship-winning draft strategies, sleeper picks,
busts to avoid, and answers to all of your fantasy questions from one of the nation's top fantasy football experts, Dr. Roto. Whether you're playing for bragging rights or big money, don't draft without this event. The Dr. Roto Fantasy Football Summit at Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe in Fort Myers. Sign up today, MillerandMoulton.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Blue cheese is on the wings in my world. Although I can't have blue cheese right now. It's on the no-eat list for me.
Could that turn you back to a just eating your wings plain guy?
Well, that's how I eat them now.
That's why I asked.
I mean, I don't put ranch on them. I don't like
Right.
ranch.
No, I know, but
So, no, I mean, I will go back to, I love blue cheese. I will go back to blue cheese.
oh, okay. Because
I-
we all start just eating our wings plain, and then at some point we start dipping them in something.
I was really bummed out the place I went to. Where did we go? Monday night, I guess. No, I don't like ranch at all, baby Jules. I don't like ranch. I don't think it tastes good. It's sweet, and I don't like sweet things to dip food in or put on my salad.
You know what I realized over the years? I don't like the chunk in the blue cheese. The taste of the blue cheese, I've grown to be fine with. But I hate getting that chunk of blue cheese that's usually in there. And then I'm eating a chunk of cheese that I'm like, I don't really want to eat it like this.
I love it.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I love it. It's not, I mean, not really, Tim, not really. You got to smash that chunk right on the cheese. You got to like press it like a bean where it just folds all over that wing. You sent Zinno the stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton. Miller and Moulton. Miller_Moulton on X. Thanks so much for being with us. Mark Zinno out of Atlanta, hoping to join us coming up here shortly. Seth Everett at the top of the hour for his weekly hump day visit. And Dr. Roto an hour from now. An hour from now. Because he's going to be part of the Miller and Moulton Fantasy Summit once again in just under 2 weeks. Tuesday, August 11th. Dr. Roto, the featured entertainer. All the info you need to have a really good fantasy draft.
And fantasy season, for that matter. It's not just about draft strategies, although that's a big part of it. There is a lot of advice as how to carry on through the season with fantasy. So I think you'll come out smarter. I think there's no doubt for going to this event, you leave with more knowledge than I think you would have expected to for a couple of hours sitting and shooting the bull with a guy who's an expert in fantasy. That is Tuesday, August 11th, 7 p.m. Shoeless Joe's, essentially the Doubletree, but where Shoeless Joe's is. We get a room back there. We'll set you up. You get a meal. You get a soft drink. You got to pay for your own alcohol. That's kind of the way it works. But we'll do that in a couple of weeks. So hopefully you will sign up and make this a great event like it has been the past couple of years. We will pound it down at you over the next few days to try to make sure that we get your Heine there to maybe have a Heine. Mark Zinno coming up momentarily. I have to ask you, David, because like I said, I threw my kid on for a couple segments. I needed someone to fill in the morning to bounce things off of.
Right.
And he's going to Tuscaloosa this year. East Carolina opens at Alabama. He and his buddies are going. I'm like, good for you. You should. And you've been nearly everywhere. You've done Rose Bowls. You've done the college. Is there a venue you haven't been to that you want to get to?
Well, I don't see how I'm going to get to them going forward because I don't.
Right.
I was fortunate that people paid my way for 20 or so years. But, I never did Oklahoma, Texas on the Cotton Bowl. And
Right.
I was hoping that the CBS contract was going to extend long enough for Oklahoma and Texas to join the conference just because I wanted to do that game. So off the top of my head, that would be one in which I go, missed out on that, but obviously been very fortunate. Mark Zinno is one of our favorites. First off, he represented our country with honor and talked about it for a long time on the radio as well with some tremendous podcasts. You can follow Mark on X at Mark Zinno, Zinno. Nationally, he can be heard on ESPN Radio, locally on 92.9 The Game in Atlanta. Mark, it's David and Mark. We always appreciate your time and, as we mentioned, your service. How are you?
Gentlemen, good to be with you. I hope things are sunny and wonderful in Southwest Florida.
They are. It'll rain this afternoon, though, but that's what we call summer around here. Wanted to have you on because, earlier in the week, I had on a friend of mine in Charlotte. We talked a little Carolina Panthers. Had on a guy in Louisiana, talked a little Saints. We obviously talk a lot of Bucks, particularly in the last 48 hours with the news that Baker is going to play out his contract and Vita Vea indeed is asking for a trade. We'll see what happens there. But when I look at the NFC South, Mark, and bringing up the Falcons into this conversation, I think if the three of us wrote down our predictions for how that division were to go, the odds of three completely different answers are probably there. I mean, this is the one I can take the other five divisions, and I pretty much know who I'm picking to win. I don't have a clue in the South. When you look at the Atlanta Falcons, what do you see them doing this year?
I see they have a fairly high ceiling. I mean, look, because of the lack of competition, it's not out of the realm of possibility that they could win the division. I mean, they've been, 8-9 or 7-9, whatever it is, for the last 6-7 years. So they're always just kind of one player, one play away from having their season, a handful of plays away from having their season look dramatically different. Look, and I don't know that the roster has gotten particularly better in the offseason, but Kevin Stefanski is a huge upgrade at coaching on the offensive side of the ball. Bijan Robinson is still maybe, if not the best, one of the 2 or 3 best players in all of football. And, they have a multitude of weapons on the offense that they can score with. I think this division is going to come down to whoever has the best defense is going to win it. As bad as the quarterback play looks, or as bad or as inconsistent as the quarterback play looks, I don't think Baker's bad. I think he's really good. But again, there's a lot of changes in Tampa, right? No more Mike Evans, and Emeka Egbuka is expected to take on this bigger role. And, who knows what you're going to get out of the Saints offensively. But I just think the team with the best defense here is going to dominate. And last year, the Falcons had a really good defense. Now, a lot of changes. Jeff Ulbrich still stays on, but this is still a defense right now that lost Rukaroro to Jacksonville. Caden Ellis is now in New Orleans. And there are questions about James Pierce Jr. and how viable he's going to be and be able to play. So there's a lot here to wonder about the Falcons and what they're able to do and where they're able to go.
How sold are you or not sold are you on Penix?
I don't think he's going to be the starter. Look, the Falcons are playing this ridiculous, stupid PR game that I don't understand. Is the guy cleared or not? Just say
right.
What is the big deal? What is the big deal? If he's 100%, the Chiefs came out, Patrick Mahomes 100% cleared. The fact that they haven't said that yet tells me he's not 100% cleared. Correct. And he's not going to be ready for training camp. And he's not going to be the guy taking the snaps with the ones. I just wish they'd come out and say it instead of playing this stupid game, because it really is dumb. Do you think in week 1, their opponent is well, you have to scheme for both quarterbacks? No, they're not. And oh, by the way, they've got 8 weeks to do it. So, what does it matter? I mean, you're going to pick a quarterback at some point in time. If Michael Penix is not healthy and he can't play, then just say it. And when he's healthy, we'll decide where he goes from then. But for whatever reason, they want to hide this thing like it's government information, and we're moving troops into Iran. Relax. Just tell us what the status of the damn quarterback is.
By the way, if we ever went in that direction, this is the guy we'd have on to talk about that. But we're going to quickly skip past that.
Right.
Get people fired up this morning. We'll just stick to the NFC South.
We're 13 seconds away from this show being derailed, but okay.
But you mentioned Pierce, and obviously that's a mess in the worst possible way, and losing a couple of, because finally, for years, the Atlanta Falcons couldn't get after the quarterback. That was the probably the biggest hindrance from the Falcons taking the next step. They finally have a defense that does. You've already mentioned two guys are gone. I don't know how Pierce, I mean, I don't know if and when Pierce ever plays again in the league, for crying out loud. So this is changed quickly, and it certainly seems that that's going to affect them. As you mentioned, you look at defense in this division. Well, their defense, which was really good last year, how good is it now?
I'll continue to publicly eat crow and apologize to Jeff Ulbrich. When they hired him, I thought it was a bad hire. I thought it was too myopic and insular, like they're going back to familiar. You know, he was already here with the organization. There was other defensive coordinators out there that I thought would have, made a better fit. And all he did was coach his ass off and make this defense excellent. So any chance I get to publicly apologize to Jeff Ulbrich, I do it because he deserves it. He was fantastic last year. And his scheme is one the players love. Part of the reason why he was kept here by Kevin Stefanski. I mean, it wasn't a mandate from ownership that, hey, he has to be your DC. Kevin Stefanski wanted him here, and the players want him here. And I think that continuity is going to help a ton as they start the regular season. Again, some pieces have moved. I do worry about the pass rush being as effective as it was, but to a certain extent, I just kind of trust Ulbrich that he's going to figure this out. And whatever pieces on the chessboard he has, he knows the right moves to make to put his team in position to win. I think, the Falcons secondary probably got beefed up a little bit. They drafted AJ Terrell's younger brother. And so you got two Terrells out there. And I think, the storyline is nice. I don't know how much of a player he's going to be, but by all accounts, he's going to be really good. And so I think when you look at this defense, they're good up front. They're good on the back end. It's a question of how good can they be? And can they hold up against the NFC South? Because that's really what it boils down to. I mean,
right.
Going 4-2, maybe even 5-1 in the division is what will separate one team from everybody else.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
If we're 3-3s and 4-2s and 2-4s across the board, it's like, well, things got to be really, really tight. That one extra win to 5-1 will be the difference between who wins the division and who doesn't.
Mark Zinno, who does national work on ESPN Radio, locally 92.9 The Game in Atlanta. Also, he makes picks. He makes picks at a few places. Okay, go find them. All right. Mark Zinno, kind enough to join us here on Miller and Moulton. All right, Braves. What do they need, and do you think they'll go get it?
They need some starting pitching help because Smith-Shawver, Schwellenbach, and Strider are question marks at this point in time. Who knows if they're going to be able to pitch? And by all accounts, it doesn't look like they're going to be able. Maybe Strider can come back, but they need arms behind Chris Sale, and they have to get him. The problem was that there was this guy, not Tarek Skubal. They were never going to be in the Tarek Skubal sweepstakes. They were not. But there is this guy in Boston named Sonny Gray who's pitching his tail off this year. They were going to go get him. And now Boston has won 15 straight and is now right back in the middle of this thing. So Boston ain't selling anybody. So now they got to look to a different spot here. The Braves definitely need starting pitching help. They could use another bat, but I don't necessarily know where they'd play in the field. Austin Riley is continuing to just be on the struggle bus the entire year. So the guy who's voted in the MVP, top 10 3 years straight, is batting his sister's weight at this point. So it hasn't been good. I don't know where they get another bat, but clearly they could use one. And Alex Anthopoulos has always been very good at the trade deadline, trying to find the right pieces. Nobody has any real risk to believe that he won't be as good this time around. So we have to wait and see. I don't know what arm is really available for them out there right now.
Yeah, I mean, I know, the Twins may have a guy, but are they selling? The Mets have a guy. They are selling. That's in the division. You probably have to pay more. And I think, to me, Mark, the hard part's going to be the team that I don't want to say battling because they've kept Philly at arm's length the whole season. They need a pitcher too. So they're battling the Phillies for a starting pitcher, and that causes the price to go up. Do they have enough in the system to get what they need in your estimation?
I think so. I mean, I think Alex has got, pretty free reign on how he wants to do this and what's available to him. I would generally feel like that if there was a move to be made that was going to help his team win now, Alex would be able to pull it off. I don't think that there's anything that is going to stop him from being able to make the moves necessary. And again, some of that may be the Braves have to pivot to try to see what Tarek Skubal is available for. if he's available. Again, the Tigers are still trying to figure out throughout the rest of this week whether they're staying or going. I would love. By the way, I would love for Tarek Skubal to end up in Tampa.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm the only one who's been saying it, and I've been saying it for a month. Oh my goodness. Thank you.
And I'm telling you, it's not going to happen because it doesn't put one more ass in a seat in that building. If they were going to the new building, the new stadium next year, I'm all with you guys. It's just not going to happen.
Look, you look behind me. I'm a Yankees fan, so that doesn't help me as a Yankees fan for the Rays to get Tarek Skubal. But I just, you know what it does? It signals that, like, even if you're small market and you're shrewd and you're astute and you know baseball, you could push the right buttons and put yourself in a position to win.
Yes.
And it just it speaks more to, as we're getting ready for some labor stoppage here, it speaks more to, like, hey, not everybody has to spend the same, and not everybody has to be the same in order to be effective. Teams have to do things differently. The Rays do. They've had a ton of success with it. And, I think it just is one of those things where, for the health of baseball, it's a good move.
Can we call you in a month, talk a little Georgia Tech football?
Yeah, but I don't know how happy we're going to be. I mean, it may, after all the great things that Brent Key did last year, he lost a ton. Obviously, Haynes King is gone. Aaron Filer, who was supposed to take his job, is now in Florida with
the OC.
With the OC, right? So it may be tough for Georgia Tech to be bowl bound this year. If you ask me about their win total over 6.5, I'm going to need some help. Like, it's hard for me to do it because I just don't know what their offense is going to be yet. Like, I really have no clue. I think Brent Key is a great coach. Defensively, they're going to be fine, but offensively, I may have some questions.
Mark Zinno, ESPN Radio nationally, 92.9, The Game in Atlanta, locally. Check out what's at Sports Grid. And can't we get your pick somewhere else?
Yeah, Wager Talk, yes.
There you go. Mark Zinno, follow him on X at Mark ZINNO. Mark, all the best. Stay healthy. Be good.
Absolutely, gentlemen. Oh, by the way, my ESPN columns will also have, I'll be writing for the website this year. We'll have all my picks in it. So college and NFL.
There you go. Seth Everett coming up on the other side. A reminder, the Fantasy Football Summit, August 11th. Go to millerandmoulton.com to sign up. Dr. Roto, the Fantasy Football Summit, less than 2 weeks away. Fantasy football season is here, and there's only one place to get the edge. Join Miller and Moulton for the Fantasy Football Summit with Dr. Roto at Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe, Tuesday, August 11th, 7 p.m. Get championship-winning draft strategies, sleeper picks, busts to avoid, and answers to all your fantasy questions from one of the nation's top experts, Dr. Roto. Whether you're playing for bragging rights or big money, don't draft without this event. Tuesday, August 11th, the Fantasy Football Summit at Shoeless Joe's with Dr. Roto. Sign up, Miller and Moulton.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And With a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Buying or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller with McWilliams Buckley, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move, from pricing your home to negotiating the best deal. I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and a personal difference. That's what I'll bring to the table.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Hi, Seth.
Hello there.
Is that a Tampa shirt there? Yeah, look at there you go. The Spartans.
I'm a Spartan.
She's just counting the days to get away from you and her mother.
She is so excited.
Oh, how could you not be? Think about that. I mean, that was one of the greatest times of your life. I mean, yeah, right? I mean, we got to get out of the house. We got to leave.
Yeah. 25th, August 25th, we're heading down.
Wow. Oh, you driving her down?
David. No, we're flying.
Okay.
Flying.
Yeah, she doesn't need a car there, does she?
Nope. Nope.
That's a beautiful thing.
Welcome, David.
Welcome, Seth.
Good to see you.
It's good to be seen.
I can't wait till she gets into that dorm room and that Lightning jersey's laid out in front of her. Nice haircut.
Thanks. The funny thing, well, don't talk about this on the air, but hot neighbor, you know her.
Well, remember, there are like a couple hundred people who can hear you right now.
No, it's not a secret. I just don't want to do a segment on it. Hot neighbor lost her fiance last year. That's how we met. You know, her fiance kind of suddenly died. Yesterday was the 1-year anniversary.
Oh, so she was hammered.
She was hammered. Hammered. And I don't know if you saw my Facebook or Instagram, but if you wanted me to tell the story, I'm getting free Netflix. There's a mistake there's a flaw in the system, and I'm getting free Netflix.
And you're not helping them correct it.
Nope. And I shouldn't tell anybody, but I said it on social media just for fun.
So can others take advantage of this too?
Nope.
Oh. So it doesn't benefit anybody but you?
Yep. Well,
Okay,
my kids. Well, they don't care because they don't pay for it anyway. It literally only benefits me.
Okay.
But it is Netflix with ads. They can play as many ads as they want because I'm not paying. I have to put together a podcast this morning.
You know, there's a lot of things that seem like you can do it last minute. A podcast, unless you can just talk amongst yourself.
Well, no, it's all recorded. I just have to edit.
Gotcha.
It's all done. Everything's done for it. I just have to edit it.
Edit it. Gotcha.
I'll bang it out this morning. It's raining here.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
We are halfway home, at least in Jacksonville and Tampa St. Pete, on this hump day. And we always get over the hump with our buddy Seth Everett. Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice. Follow him on X at Seth_Everett. Good morning. So you're getting ready to send off one of your girls to the state of Florida, right?
You know it. They'll be in your care. She'll be in your care.
And I hope everyone listening can fully realize the lengths that Mark Miller especially is going to go to turn a young, aspiring hockey fan who, because of her father, has said, okay, but he is going to have 4+ years to turn her over to the Lightning.
I think it'll be done for her. I'll first off, I'm never going to see her. I mean, I can send her gifts. I'll try to get the address somehow and just, send her Lightning stuff.
Oh, that's so nice of you. So benevolent.
She will go to a Lightning game. I mean, there's not a doubt in my mind. It's really close. And at some point as a hockey fan, she'll meet someone else that's a hockey fan, other girls, group of friends, whatever the case may be. And here's my fear for you on this front. I've never been to a Devils game. I'm not going to say that the atmosphere is good, bad, or whatever. I'm going to tell you that as someone who was going to Red Wings games when they were good, who's been to games in Pittsburgh, which has become a pretty good hockey city, Tampa Bay home games are a scene. The Lightning fans are amazing. They're all wearing jerseys. That video board for an indoor facility is as good as it gets for a hockey arena. I mean, they do a really good job with their in-game product.
So just to show you what kind of a sweetheart she is, she says to me, when the NHL schedule comes out, she says, I will have an idea. When the Devils come down to Tampa, she goes, that day you come down. And she goes, and we'll go to the game together, and then you'll leave the next morning. And I said, totally. That's like a rock star move. I'm totally into that. So the schedule comes out, the big reveal, the NHL announces their schedule. They're playing March 11th, and she's on spring break.
I am curious, how is the dynamic right now? Do you still feel that, and obviously you're always dad and you always have the parental influence over your daughter. But see, my son lived away from me because I was divorced when he was young. Long story. The wife ended up getting out of here. So when he went, when he was a senior in high school and going into college, I didn't have him on a daily basis or even a weekly basis where I could, hold him back, if you will. But I remember personally the month before I left for college. I'm sure both of you do as well. And we couldn't wait to get the hell away from our parents. So you have that dynamic where you have your daughter half the time, but she's less than a month away from getting away from both of you. Has she basically has she Heisman'd you at this point and said, Dad, I don't need to hear it anymore. I've figured this out.
A little bit. This week is a weird week because my little one is going to an equestrian show, a horse show up in Saugerties. So I have the big one all week. So my oldest, she's with me till Sunday, basically, the entire week, and she turns 18 on Sunday.
Oh boy.
And so my idea is, to take her out for her birthday, and she's like, well, I'm going to the city with my friends. So I said, can you make an appointment for next Thursday? Like, I just
right.
trying to
fit Dad in between 3 and 4:30 on the 7th. That would be great.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
Seth Everett, Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice. Follow him on X at Seth_Everett. By the way, quickly, Mother and I were in each other's armpit because it was just my mom and I for all those years. And I'm a mama's boy and proud of it. But by senior year of high school, I couldn't get away from her fast enough. And she could not lock me out fast enough. It was really weird. We've been close every year of my life except last year before going away to college. We were done with each other.
Well, when we went to school, it was a different time. And I remember I got done one year. I had a car up on campus, and I got done with the finals a day early. So I decided to surprise them, and I didn't know that they had changed the locks. And I'm the idiot just sitting on my driveway, just waiting for one of them to get home from work because we didn't have cell phones. You couldn't call them.
Right.
And I was like a doofus. Like I'm just sitting on the driveway because they changed the locks on me while I went to college.
So what's the big, this has been an interesting year for the New York sports scene. And I know David follows it because it's his teams as well, but you're there. We've got the Yankees.
Did they win anything?
Right. We've got the Yankees without Judge, but they're still good.
Yeah.
The Mets are a grease fire. The Knicks obviously won their championship. The Giants have a new coach.
Mm-hmm.
Plaxico Burress compared the Jets with being in prison. So
and he's been in prison. It is
Yeah.
important for everybody knows that's not just a line.
Yeah.
He's been in prison.
Yep.
And look, at the hockey fans are the hockey fans. But what, as we're a month away from the NFL starting, we're a couple days away from the trade deadline. What's the vibe around there right now, sports-wise?
It's very Knicks, very, very, very Knicks. The reaction I got from the podcast that I did with Alan Hahn, who's an MSG network analyst. He's also a radio host. Alan is a longtime friend. He came on the podcast, and the sheer joy that I have not heard. Like, I get reaction from the podcast. I mean, the numbers are the numbers, and I don't really obsess about that. But this idea that so many people thanked me for doing the Knicks podcast and what it was special. And then I made this little video. I don't know if you guys saw, but I made this little video. Alan Hahn, they did a toast, all the MSG crew the night of Game 5, all the crew after they were all off the air, like 2:30 in the morning, they did a toast. And Alan Hahn paid tribute to the late John Andres and Al Troutwig. And I got like chills because I remember growing up watching both of those guys, and it really did mean something. And I am not a basketball fan. I'm not a Knicks fan. I could care less. I barely watched the finals, but the sheer joy that people are experiencing is palpable. And living in the New York area, it has been a very, I don't want to say unifying, but it has been a very rallying situation. And the amount of people that have just told me how much they enjoyed the Knicks run, it's really different. It's different than most things. Now, you haven't won a major championship since 2009 with the Yankees. And this reality is that's a long time for a city that has 9 pro teams. But what are you going to do?
I will say the Harbaugh hype is crazy. All right. Crazy. I mean, Miller and Moulton have gone out of our way. And obviously, I'm a Giants fan, but we've pointed out, have you seen the Giants' road schedule? I mean, listen, do I think they're going to be much better coached and much improved and yes, but my goodness, how much better they're going to have to be in 1 year's time. In a division in which I can argue that I think every team in it will be better than they were a year ago. I just think that, I think Harbaugh,
just slow down.
I think they're being set up to fail. That if they go 7-10 with that schedule from where they came and established where they're going to go next year, I think that's very successful. And 7-10 is probably going to be third place and be viewed as an abject failure.
Yeah, I think they're a little better than that, but I hear you. I don't disagree, and we'll have to wait and see. The curiosity will be about Dart. Dart had a very interesting year. He had that little kerfuffle with the controversy and stuff like that, and we'll see, how much of a leader he becomes and everything that happens with him. And the Giants have a chance, I think, to just turn heads. Now, you say 7-10, I could see like a 9-8, 10-7 kind of thing, and I could still see them being in third place.
Wow, 10-7. I don't see any way that they get to 10 personally, but hey, we'll see.
That's what you play the games for.
Exactly. Seth, you've talked about your love for Arsenal in the Premier League. I did find it funny that
friendly on Saturday.
I looked at an article recently of how to pick your Premier League team. Yes. And I have one, and mine goes back, 20 some years when this team was no good. I'm a Man City fan, and it's not because they're great now. It's because of a boxer that liked him, Ricky Hatton, all these years ago. You're an Arsenal fan. There's some family ties to it. It's organic. It's not someone you just chose.
Yep.
But they comped all of these teams to baseball teams.
Yeah.
And when I saw that the Arsenal comp was the St. Louis Cardinals, I immediately thought of you, Seth, because
the obnoxious fan base.
No one has ever given the Cardinals fan grief like one Seth Everett. And I got the biggest kick out of that because now I'm going to call you a Cardinals fan from this point forward.
Yeah. Well, the talk about the World Cup and the after effect of the World Cup is that, what will the next thing, the NHL got a bump from the Olympics, and, no question, but that the World Cup will give a bump to the Premier League because it's English, first of all, and it's very accessible with NBC and Peacock and how easy it is to see. So people are adopting teams, and it's been trending on social media. How do you pick your team? And a lot of teams have been doing it because of the ownership groups.
Right.
The ownership groups also own an NFL team, or if they own their favorite NBA team, Crystal Palace and the Milwaukee Bucks, and Arsenal is the Colorado Avalanche and the Denver Nuggets and the LA Rams, and Josh Harris owns a Premier League, like that kind of connects it, and to me it makes just as much sense.
All right, Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice, 10 seconds. What do you got?
Hall of Justice. So we're getting ready for the big Spider-Man movie this weekend. That'll be next episode. This week we do Nicolas Cage's Spider Noir, the new show on Amazon Prime. We review that, and it'll be out tomorrow. Spider Noir, starring Nicolas Cage, was really, really good.
Yeah, Seth has been, and he doesn't give a lot of thumbs up. Nope. He's a lot tougher than Siskel.
Been very good.
Yeah. Miller and Moulton, Seth Everett, Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice, right here. Thanks for listening.
The Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
as of this month, EB, 82 cents.
For a stamp?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right.
Who would write who would buy that? Oh my God. She's going to send me to buy stamps. I'm going to freak. I'm glad you told me.
And I have thought for 20 years that the price should have been $1. I think it's amazing what can be shipped and what it can be shipped for, and how inexpensive it is.
They're horrible, Drutherian. Horrible. But I don't care.
Oh.
This is where I'm the old guy. It's like, it's whatever. But I will say it's one of the things, I root for Detroit teams and not really the Lions. And the Pistons are fine, but they've had weird jerseys. But the Red Wings and Tigers have all-time great uniforms. Like, I don't think the Red Wings are the best in the sport. I think the Blackhawks are. But I'll put and the Canadians are right there. After those two, I think Detroit's is every bit as good as the Maple Leafs, the Bruins, and the Rangers. Take your pick. The Tigers jerseys are great. They're not good. They're great. The Old English D is effing cool.
Yep.
And they're wearing these. I texted my buddy the other day. They were on TV. And I'm like, I don't know if you're watching the Tigers, but how horrible are these jerseys? And he's like, yuck. He goes, I actually am. They're disgusting. And his dad was a season ticket holder. So, I mean, he went all the time. It's like, it just these, and I get the city, but maybe kids like the city jersey. I don't know. But I just don't get it. And I don't know what the Astros need. I think pitching, don't they? I mean, they give up a ton of runs.
I'll say this.
They've given up the most runs in the American League, I believe. They need pitching. No, I'm sorry. That's the Athletics. They've given up 600 runs. Holy crap. Yeah, the alternate, but in like what are the Boston Red Sox doing where, and I know it's the train or whatever, but those city jerseys are brutal. Brutal. It's like Pittsburgh wearing the Bumblebee crap. Why? I even saw a Bills fan freak out on social media that I know. She loves everything. I mean, the Buffalo, Josh Allen could take a crap on the road and she would say, that's the best dump I've ever seen. And she ripped the gray jerseys. And they shouldn't, EB, and neither should the Tigers.
No.
And neither should the Dodgers. I mean, like the San Francisco Giants, you know what they always look? They look good. I don't get it, but whatever.
Well, most road jerseys are not good. I agree with that. I hate the road jerseys. The home jerseys are.
No, I know Left Twitch, but how many people are buying them? Like, that's what I wonder.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Dr. Roto at about 15 minutes time, because Dr. Roto will be in a room with a microphone and your questions in less than 2 weeks. Tuesday, August 11th, Miller and Moulton's Fantasy Football Summit with Dr. Roto. Go to millerandmoulton.com, millerandmoulton.com, and sign up. It's real easy. But it's 13 days away. But that's how quickly the football season is coming upon us. Magic numbers are 31 and 42. 31 days, 4 weeks Saturday. College football season kicks off. 6 weeks tonight, 42 days away. Seahawks and Patriots. And then we get the NFL season going, dragging it out over the course of 5 days. But that's okay. We've waited over 200 for it.
All right. You and Mark Zinno are on this Scooble to the Rays thing, even though we know that's not going to happen. I have to ask you this, though, because, by the way, Scooble to the Brewers seems like that's a possibility for a mid-market type team. You know, the Dodgers have been talked about a lot, but the Brewers, there's a lot of smoke there. So that, you know, to a team that you wouldn't expect, if you will, keep an eye on the Brewers. Let me just ask you, David, because you love a trade deadline. I hate to, you know, I know you want to talk football, but I want to talk a little baseball trade deadline with you here.
Okay. Well, all right.
If you must, right? So I have said for a month that the Tigers should trade Scooble. I am not changing my thought on that. It is an interesting dynamic for Detroit. That's a GM that, to me, didn't make moves the last 2 years when moves could have helped them maybe get to a World Series. It's the same guy that owns the Red Wings, who's blown 2 trade deadlines in a row not to get that team back to the postseason. It's a fragile fan base right now in the whole city. It really is. Yeah, the Pistons were good, but they got bounced early and no one knows what they're going to do. The Lions are the Lions. And that's where the fans are right now, by the way. They're not with the Tigers or the Red Wings. They're with the Lions. So taking all of that into consideration, if you were Chris Ilitch, would you give your general manager the go-ahead to move Scooble, or do you think being whatever they are back from the wild card, 3.5, 4 right now, they're 5 back in the division. I mean, the division's still obtainable based on what's happened the last 2 years in that division. Obviously, the wild card is. Would you move Scooble?
Would I today, this morning? No.
Wait.
But do I think the 5 days between now and the deadline could influence my decision? Absolutely. Because, Mark, your point, I'm just looking at the 6th seed because they're almost one and the same. Detroit's 3 in the loss column behind the Guardians and the Twins. 3 with a third of the season left. Just look what's happened in this division the last 2 years, for goodness sakes. The team that was in first place by double digits each of the last 2 years on this date did not win the division. Are you really sold on the White Sox, the Guardians, and the Twins? No. If I'm only 3 back in the loss column, Mark, 3 or less, I'm definitely holding on to Scooble. I got a plus 39 run differential. Mark, if I had a closer worth a damn, we'd be leading that division.
Okay. Then with that being said, there is a lot of talk, and this team's still in it too. But there is a ton of smoke out of San Diego that they're going to move Miller. And, you know, the Yankees are talking about that. And boy, would that make them even more interesting because their starting pitching's not good. It's great. But would you get, and I don't know if bidding war is the right thing, but would you at least be trying to, if you're going to keep him? I mean, are you making a phone call with your left hand saying, what are you going to give me for Scooble? And then the other hand, while you set that one down going, I need your closer, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. I'm doing that. But here's the deal. You got to pay the piper for Mason Miller. Okay. Mason Miller, my understanding is not a rental like Scooble. Okay. Mason Miller still has time left on that deal and he's unhittable. Okay. So you're going all in to get Mason Miller. I think what's more strategic, Mark, and he's not my favorite, but you could get Devin Williams from the Mets for a song. Okay. And while he's got a couple of boys on his recent resume, and I don't mean July of this year, you know, gave up the Alonso homer 2 years ago. But for the last 5 years, you look at his numbers, durable, mostly throws strikes, has pitched the 9th inning 5 years in a row. Okay. Has pitched in the playoffs I think the last 3 years. Okay. Mark, you could get Devin Williams on the cheap from the Mets. That's the type of move I would make. I'd keep him and make a cheap closer move mean, the Red Sox made a move. I'm showing my age. Back in the day, 1990, they went and got the Phillies. I think made it. Larry Anderson. They brought in Larry Anderson as a rental when you used to be able to get a guy through waivers in August. Mark, he went 9 for 9 in the month of September in saves. The Red Sox won the division because of Larry Anderson.
Look at, by the way, back to the Miller thing with San Diego. If he's indeed moved, he's got 3 years left after this.
Yeah.
So the price is high. David, one of the teams that I've heard that could possibly get him would make me do cartwheels. And I'm not an anti-Yankees person. I'm really not. I don't root for New York teams, but I don't always root against them. I do sometimes. But we don't need the Yankees to be great unless you're a Yankees fan. And I know Major League Baseball would love them to get Miller because it gives them the best shot to probably play the Dodgers in the World Series. But one of the teams that I've seen possibly looking at Miller are the Pittsburgh Pirates,
whose pitching has been an absolute disappointment. Okay, first off, Skeens has only been the third best starter. All right, their bullpen's been a mess. I think they lead the National Leagues in runs scored, the Pirates. And by the way, nobody's been outside of the state of Wisconsin and given more credit to the Milwaukee Brewers over the last decade than Miller and Moulton. But how many people are surprised at what I'm about to tell you? They're tied with the Dodgers for the best record in the National League.
By the way, the Nats have given up more run than the Pirates for what it's worth.
Okay.
But I mean, their pitching's disgusting.
Right.
Disgusting.
I just can't believe that Ben Cherington is having to get pitching at the deadline after the last 5 years.
So I just look at there's a lot of me, and I thought the problem to me with Detroit giving up Skubal, and I said this yesterday, David, but obviously you weren't here. I think they might have missed their window. The price keeps going down. I don't think they can get what they were expecting to get here because who's interested? The Brewers? The Dodgers don't seem to be anymore. I mean, you need a couple of teams to get into this to get what you think you deserve. So I think if you'd have done it 2 weeks ago, you'd have gotten more. I think with every day that goes on, you're getting less.
So GM needs to be bold here. We need a CC Sabathia to Milwaukee from 20 years ago. It's what we need. Let's go.
Would love to see the Brewers make a significant move. Their fans deserve it.
Hey, listen, they've been the second best franchise in that league for the last 10 years. I mean, they've gone to 2 LCSs and lost to the Dodgers both times. I mean, they've made the playoffs, I think, 7 of the last 8 years.
It's very Braves-esque, David.
Yes.
It's very Braves-esque. You got to get to the World Series. And I would love to see them make a bold move to give them that opportunity.
I agree.
So a trade deadline just days away. I had to talk trade. I mean, I've done a trade deadline segment every day this week. If I didn't do one today with David, he might come through the screen and punch me right in the nose. The Fantasy Football Summit is less than 2 weeks away with Dr. Roto, Tuesday, August 11th. We'll have the good doctor next, Miller and Moulton. Fantasy football season is here, and there's only one place to get the edge. Join Miller and Moulton for the Fantasy Football Summit with Dr. Roto at Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe, Tuesday, August 11th, 7 p.m. Get championship-winning draft strategies, sleeper picks, busts to avoid, and answers to all your fantasy questions from one of the nation's top experts, Dr. Roto. Whether you're playing for bragging rights or big money, don't draft without this event. Tuesday, August 11th, the Fantasy Football Summit at Shoeless Joe's with Dr. Roto. Sign up, Miller and Moulton
Moulton.com. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Morning, Doc. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, man. How about you?
I'm hanging in there.
Good to hear. Good to hear. How's your summer been? Do anything fun?
Absolutely nothing. I get to pay for my kids. My daughter graduated FGCU, which is good.
Okay. One done.
One done.
One kind of off the payroll.
Yeah. No, she has no job. No, nothing. So not off the payroll. And then my son, we're taking back to school in a month.
Okay. And he's at Rice?
Yeah. He'll be a junior with the time. I mean, you just blink.
Oh, I was laughing because, my daughter's going to be in 7th grade. They're like, my son's 27. Like, he's full adult,
Right.
He actually, I had him do 5 segments with me yesterday in the morning, which was fun.
Oh, cool.
He does a little podcast. He graduated from East Carolina and he does a football podcast up there. I'm like, you know what? Let's, if the Bucks can do it, if the Golics can do it, why can't I? Let's do 5 segments before he had to go to his job. So, but my daughter, just little things like, the door always had to be open. And now, now the door's got to be shut. It's like, yep, it's all starting.
How was he? Did he do a good job?
Yeah, he was all right. He'll be better if he does it again. He was a little nervous, but he did fine.
How you doing, my man?
How you holding up?
How are you holding up, more importantly?
Well, I haven't felt this well in 3 months.
Okay.
Now, I don't know why. I mean, besides drugs, but this is, for one day, for one morning, things are
feeling
going amazingly well. I have not felt this well
Good. I'm glad. I am.
in a very long time.
Remember that conversation we had when I was in the hospital?
Uh-huh.
I want to have you give the same one, dude. Let's go. Let's go. Whatever it takes.
Little Brady here. Throw the F initial in the middle. Let's go.
Well, I didn't know if this was a G-rated podcast here. How's your wife feeling? How's her knee? How's everything?
Oh, terrible. She's putting off a knee replacement because of me. And daughter's doing really well. 2 grandkids are doing really well.
Okay.
Let's face it, the old folks, they don't count anymore, except their bank accounts still needed on occasion.
Right. Oh, mine is needed literally daily.
Well, yeah, you got 2 in college.
Can you sell me here? Can you sell me this? Can you sell me this? Like literally every day. My answer is get a job.
Right.
And even then, I'm just telling you, he's 27. He hasn't needed me in a while, but I still, if he's coming to see me, I'm paying for the ticket, if you know what I mean.
Right. It'll be my greatest day if my children one day pay for dinner or pay for the ticket to visit me, anything like that.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. And on this hump day, as August is nearly upon us, well, we start doing countdowns. 31 days to the college football season kicking off. 6 weeks tonight, 42 days until the NFL season kicks off, and 13 nights away until Dr. Roto plays host to the Miller and Moulton Fantasy Football Summit. Once again, Dr. Roto, easy to find, drroto.com. But sign up for millerandmoulton.com and make sure that you see him in person. Ask him anything and everything you want and get prepared not just for your draft, but also for the season that is ahead. Hey, Doc, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm trying to think. How many years have we been doing this summit now? Is it like 5, 6, 7? I'm not sure.
I think it's...
Okay. Here's how I know the first member, Mark, and you followed everything he said this draft. Mahomes had played 1 game.
Right.
Okay. So it was the 2019 season or 2018 season. That was, they're handed the ball from Alex Smith to Patrick Mahomes. And Dr. Roto stood in front of the board and said, my entire fantasy world is resting on Patrick Mahomes. Right. That's how all in I am. So we went at least that far back. His first year as a starter in Kansas City.
There you go. All right. Been
Okay.
giving winners ever since.
And it's a great event. Tuesday, August 11th, 7 o'clock. You have Dr. Roto's ear for basically 2 hours. He does his thing, and then it's a lot of Q&A, and it's more than just the draft. It's advice on how to run a fantasy season. And I think that's important to understand because you can probably get your draft advice and do that, and you'll get that. But there's a lot more that you'll learn about how, if you're going to do this a little more competitively, and everybody now plays for a little bit of money, so you want to win.
Well, it's so funny you said that because we always give out a cheat sheet, right? I come in with the drroto.com cheat sheets and we go over the players I like and don't like. I think the great questions are the ones where people are asking about strategy. What round should I take my quarterback? What round should I take my tight end? Should I take a running back in round 1? Right? Because every year it changes. This year, guys, running backs are critical. If you don't have a good running back by the end of round 2, it may be over. Literally, it may be over. And I'm the guy for years past who's always said, get that receiver. And now I don't necessarily feel that way. So every year we've got to be one step ahead of our competition.
Isn't it funny, Doc? Because I've been playing fantasy now for a long time. I moved here in 98 to Southwest Florida. And I think it was basically by 99, there were some guys at the arena where I worked that, hey, you want to get in a fantasy football league? Sure. And I've been in a league every year now for damn near 30 years. And when you brought that up, it kind of made me think. When I first started playing fantasy, first off, we weren't doing PPR leagues, which is points per reception for those that don't know. That didn't really exist. Every league was a standard league, and now they're all different in how they do points. But everybody grabbed running backs, and you had to you basically had to draft a running back with your first pick, maybe your second pick. And then the passing game and the PPR came in, and the Jamar Chases of the world and Jeffersons, they're going early. And it doesn't mean they won't go early again, but it is interesting to me, Doc, that as long as I've been playing fantasy, you've been doing this a long time as well, we've kind of done a complete 360. I mean, we went from take the running back to running backs aren't important to, man, you've got to have a running back now.
And how about quarterbacks? In the old days, you had to have your quarterback. People, if you didn't get them in, the first 2 or 3 rounds, people were freaking out. I've been one of the people on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. I've been on since the inception. And I've been saying to people, wait on your quarterback. And people get very twitchy. They don't want to do it. No pun intended. But here it is. And it's like the truth of the matter is there are so many good quarterbacks this year. So many. I can win with Baker Mayfield. I can win with Bo Nix. I can win with Trevor Lawrence. I don't need to take Lamar Jackson early. So just like you mentioned about the running backs, how it's changed, quarterbacks have changed, tight ends have changed. Brock Bowers is a legitimate second-round pick. Trey McBride is a legitimate third-round pick. So it's really about how you build your house. I want to build a house that stays up, that's hurricane-proof, that's going to help you win under any conditions.
See what he did there? See what he did there in July?
Oh.
Hurricane proof. Did everybody catch that? That was a sponsorable line right there.
That's a pro.
Just want to let you know. Tuesday, August 11th at the DoubleTree where Shoeless Joe's in, Bell Tower in Fort Myers, 7:00 we get started. You get dinner, you get your sodas, you got to pay for your drinks, and you get Doc Roto. Sign up, millerandmoulton.com.
It's one thing for Miller and Moulton talking about games or picks, and even Mark, who plays fantasy and what have you, but you got to do this for a living. When, quite frankly, do you bail on a guy? You'd rather leave a year early than a year late. When do you jump on a guy? Maybe you end up doing it a year early. Okay, I'm just curious. To me, I would think that's the toughest decisions to make, particularly at the running back position.
I will say, David, that I pride myself on always being right. Wait for it though, but not necessarily the timing, right? I'll tell you if the player is good or not, and I'll be right on the player. But like Ashton Genty, I loved him last year, but maybe this is his year. Because this year he's got Kubiak calling plays. This year he's got Rick Dennison as the offensive line coach and improved offensive line. Maybe this year they just have a better quarterback situation than Geno Smith, who was hard to trust. So now you've got all these things in place, and Genty goes from being okay last year to how did I not have him this year, right? So we want to find this year's Patrick Mahomes, this year's Genty, and we want to fade those guys who, maybe you're a year past their prime. I think what we're starting to do now, I'm always looking for the wrinkle. This year's wrinkle to me is Las Vegas. We need to be using Las Vegas more. Prop bets. That's what I mean. If you go on to Prize Picks, you can see season totals. Do you know that Kyler Murray's season total right now is 2,925 passing yards and 17 touchdowns? Does that inspire you? Doesn't inspire me. So if Vegas thinks that Kyler Murray is going to suck, what does that mean for Justin Jefferson? Now, maybe Justin Jefferson is getting all 2,900 yards. I don't know. But it tells me that Vegas is soft on the Vikings. If Vegas is soft on the Vikings, if all things are equal, and I can choose between CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson, maybe I'm taking CeeDee Lamb because Vegas is telling me watch and avoid Jefferson.
I'm glad you went there because that was one of the – I don't want to give away secrets that we're going to give away on Tuesday the 11th. But I am curious when it comes to some of those props because our summit's about fantasy football. Well, there's a lot of us that gamble more than just fantasy football. Do you look at season-long props? I know you do some individual stuff on a weekly basis, and we've talked about that before. But as you mentioned – when you're getting your strategy for this year's fantasy season. And for the record, Doc's in a bunch of big money leagues, and I'm guessing he'll be drafting here shortly with some of these leagues. When you're getting ready for all the leagues you're in, How much are you betting on season-long props? How much are you paying? You just said you're paying attention to them for, guy A over guy B. But is there money to be made being ahead of the curve on season-long props like now instead of waiting until September 1, if you know what I mean?
Yes, because the lines change, but you've got to be very careful. In 2024, David Montgomery's prop on Prize Picks was 775.5 yards. Do you know he finished with 775 yards? You would have lost by 0.5. So you need to be really careful because they're already factoring in games that a guy is missing, things in an offense. So I don't like the season-long props as much as I like the weekly props because I could take advantage all week long. And I want people to understand this. It's not about being a degenerate and being gambling and stuff like that. We can use season-long props for fantasy purposes for our DFS lineups, and more importantly, for our seasonal lineups. Who does Vegas like more? If Vegas thinks that CeeDee Lamb is at 74 yards and Justin Jefferson's at 67, and I've got to start one of those two guys, I'm going to be thinking about that. So I want people to start thinking we've got to be smarter. You said something about high stakes, and I was talking to little Roto, my son, and I said, look, I think one of the things that separates me from many people that you will see on YouTube or many people out here is I will be in 15 or 20 high stakes leagues, and high stakes are usually $250 and up. So I'm not disrespecting anybody playing in a home league, but when I'm putting my money where my mouth is, right? If I'm telling you I'm taking a player, then I'm encouraging you to do the same.
All right. This may sound incredibly stupid, but since we all acknowledge the league changes greatly year to year, therefore, how much stock should I put into last year's numbers?
That is always the best question that's asked. It's always, if you pick last year's best team, you will likely finish in the middle of the pack of your league. And that's why I don't really like sites like Yahoo and ESPN when they grade your draft and then you got yourself an A. If you have an A, it's most likely because you have last year's best team. I want people to have a C or D on Yahoo or ESPN because that means you're forward thinking, right? Please, I beg Yahoo, give me a D. Tells me I'm doing everything right. So I think that, David, it's such a great question because if you're tied into what happened last year, are you onto the coaching changes? Do you know who the new offensive coordinators are? Do you know which teams are playing with more pace? I mean, do you know which teams are incorporating more running backs? Those are the greatest questions. Don't be thinking about last year. You've got to be thinking about this year.
Well, and that, Doc, that's such a great point because if I'm not mistaken, there are 17 new OCs in the league this year. 17 new offensive coordinators. Not all of them are calling plays, but I had Pat Kerwin on last week, and it was what I discussed with Pat. I'm like, Pat, when you look at an OC, what do you see? And the point he made to me is, okay, did they come from the team? Did they call plays, or are they replacing someone? Are they in that system, or are they brand new, which is a new language? And that affects fantasy, Doc, because it is only the first 13 weeks. So if it's going to take a team a month to get used to a new system, that greatly affects how you should draft your team, right?
Right. So Sean McDermott, not with the Bills. Joe Brady is the head coach now. He brings in Pete Carmichael. What do we know about Pete Carmichael? He was with the Saints forever. And who thrived with Pete Carmichael? Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara caught 70, 80 passes a year. Does that mean that James Cook is all of a sudden going to be a good pass catcher? It might. But if you're thinking like in years past, well, James Cook is always a guy who catches 35 or 40. You might be missing out on 30 catches because you didn't realize that Pete Carmichael might be incorporating that in the offense more. So those are the little things. Same thing, Shane Waldron, that guy's toxic. Well, where's he the passing game coordinator? Jacksonville. Oh, man, I love Liam Cohen. I hate me some Shane Waldron. So now I'm a little confused about Jacksonville. I loved them last year. I was wrong about Brian Thomas Jr., but I wasn't wrong about Jacksonville or Trevor Lawrence. So I've got to now see if Shane Waldron has demolished every team he's ever been on. Is he going to demolish the Jaguars too? I got to investigate that.
Dr. Roto, less than 2 weeks, Tuesday, August 11th. MillerandMoulton.com is our yearly fantasy football night. MillerandMoulton.com. You get your night with Dr. Roto. We're the only people he does this for. You'll be the only ones to get a private audience with him before your drafts. And also, he literally gives away his cheat sheet. Here, this is what I'm going to do with my big money stakes. Here's what you need to keep in mind throughout the season. This is a golden opportunity for you. He gets great reviews after the fact. People look at how they do and they go, man, he gave me a lot of good info. So millerandmoulton.com, sign up 2 Tuesdays from now, Tuesday the 11th. It's our annual fantasy football draft. It is done for you, really. I mean, Miller and Moulton will make about $12 out of this. Okay. So Dr. Roto will make about 20. Okay. And this is done for you. This is our way of saying get prepared and good luck. The Miller and Moulton Fantasy Draft with Dr. Roto. Go to millerandmoulton.com Tuesday, August 11th.
It's truly one of my favorite nights of the year. I love connecting with people. I love seeing you guys. And my favorite thing is seeing the same faces that we've seen in years past, because that's telling me we're doing something right. So can't wait. I literally can't wait. I encourage everybody out there who's listening, come to the summit. And I mean, we're going to do everything we can to help you win this year.
And we're probably at Doc Roto 3.0 now. We get over the minutia of what he taught early. We figure a lot of you know that. We run through it quickly, right, and then we get to the meat and potatoes. There's not a lot of appetizers at this event. This is a meat and potatoes type of event where we dig deep into the fantasy football world. Doc, keep preparing. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Looking forward to it. Take care, guys.
Dr. Roto on Miller and Moulton, the Fantasy Football Summit. Again, it's August 11th. It's a Tuesday night. Shoeless Joe Sports Cafe at the Doubletree in Bell Towers in Fort Myers. Sign up now. millerandmoulton.com, millerandmoulton.com. That's where you sign up. We give you a dinner. We give you a soft drink. You got to pay for your own drinks. But you get Dr. Roto for 2 hours.
Buying or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller with McWilliams Buckley, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move, from pricing your home to negotiating the best deal. I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and a personal difference. That's what I'll bring to the table.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
Fantasy
sound.
football season is here, and there's only one place to get the edge. Join Miller and Moulton for the Fantasy Football Summit with Dr. Roto at Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe, Tuesday, August 11th, 7 p.m. Get championship-winning draft strategies, sleeper picks, busts to avoid, and answers to all your fantasy questions from one of the nation's top experts, Dr. Roto. Whether you're playing for bragging rights or big money, don't draft without this event. Tuesday, August 11th, the Fantasy Football Summit at Shoeless Joe's with Dr. Roto. Sign up, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
My kid flew that Avilo a few times, but they don't fly out of Raleigh anymore. Now Breeze does. He never had a problem, Logic Man. So good luck. Who just announced a flight to it? It might not start yet, but I thought Allegiant just announced an Atlantic City direct. Because I know my wife's best friend lives in Jersey, and Atlantic City's a lot easier, obviously, than Newark to fly into. And you're right, she used to do Spirit down here, but I think it's Allegiant, and her mom actually lives in Pine Island, so Punta Gorda's not really that much of a difference from RSW from a driving standpoint.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Final hour of Miller and Moulton on this hump day. And there are a lot of things that have us fired up. First off, the sports world. All right. Really fascinating time. A lot of meat on the bone in baseball. Training camps underway in football. Magic numbers are 31 and 42 to the first games that count in the standings for both college and pro football. We got a fantasy football summit in less than 2 weeks. We always get excited. Dr. Roto, millerandmoulton.com. That's where you go to get your tickets. The event's in 13 days, Tuesday, August 11th, millerandmoulton.com. Okay, but also poll question. And it's a great topic, and it seems as if the vote is fairly close between the top two choices. Am I seeing the vote correctly?
You know, it's funny, David, for whatever reason, I can't see it. So I don't know what the vote in the YouTube and Twitch chat room even says, because for whatever reason, it's not showing me. But on Miller_Moulton on X, it's a dead heat between hot and medium. A dead heat, mild way in the rear. I mean, it's in the glue factory is where mild is right now if we were running a horse race. So it's National Chicken Wing Day. How do you like your wings? Hot, medium, mild. That Mark Miller, Miller_Moulton on X. If you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, you can vote right online in your respective chat rooms.
Now, we had Mark Zinno on the show earlier to talk the entire Atlanta sports scene. So obviously we spent some time on the Falcons. Mark. And he was disgusted that, the organization and Kevin Stefanski are not being upfront. Well, they have to be upfront right now, I guess, Mark, because, they don't have anybody to take the snaps at quarterback in practice. Because it's not just Penix who's still not practicing due to the knee surgery and recovery, but apparently Tua's back is bothering him to such a degree that they had to go get Cooper Rush to run the offense. That in July, how's the Falcons quarterback situation? Well, neither of our lefties can practice. Well, I guess better in July than September.
It will be fascinating because you've got, what's Pittsburgh going to do? They've got the 2 draft picks that they've made the last 2 years.
Right.
Kid from Penn State, the Buckeye. They obviously have Aaron Rodgers, and they've got Mason Rudolph. Well, they're not keeping all 4. I mean, it's an interesting look at the position of what's going to happen when guys are cut. Do guys get moved before the season? Because, most everybody's got 4 going into camp, but not many even have 2 good ones. If you go through the list of backups, it's like it always is. Some teams care, a bunch of others don't.
Well, a lot of times this is a head coach decision. I'm guessing that McCarthy is going to have a little bit more input into the roster than a normal first-year coach because he's a veteran who's won nearly 200 games. But remember, Mark, all those years in Green Bay, how much did they have behind Favre outside of when they drafted Rodgers and sat him for 3 years? How much did they have behind Rodgers his whole tenure? I mean, once their starter got hurt, Favre or Rodgers, they were cooked.
But they had guys that played a lot.
Yes.
They played more than the average Bear, if you know what I mean.
Yes. Yes, they did. How about this? Do you think it's possible, modern day roster, that you have Mason Rudolph and Rodgers game days, of course, active, but that you can taxi squad, if you will, practice squad, both young quarterbacks?
I don't think you'd be able to get away with it. I think someone that needs a third would take one of them from you.
Okay.
That's just my thought.
Yep.
I did want to switch off of backup quarterbacks because it's Miller and Moulton's favorite subject. I don't know if it's yours. But something happened yesterday in college sports that's significant. And we'll see how much it upsets the college football fan because let's be honest, what does it take in order to have a good college football team. A boatload of money. Matt Moscona was on the show yesterday. He's like, everything Lane asked for, they gave him. They thought they were going to spend 30. They're going to be closer to 50 this year. Well, two, pretty important programs in the sport made significant news yesterday. In fact, one made news, and then it was one-upped by the other by like lunch. Ohio State announced a partnership to put patches on all their jerseys with Chase. $17 million annually. And they get every sport for what it's worth. $17 million. That's righteous bucks, man. And Notre Dame said, hold my beer, Buckeyes. Because they did a deal with SoFi that is estimated to be worth $20 million a year. That is serious money. And
do you remember in the 80s and 90s all the shows that used to make fun of NASCAR and all the other sports that kind of made fun of NASCAR too? Look at them with the patches on their uniforms. Look at them when they get to victory lane. They got to make sure that they thank, and they go through the list of sponsors.
There was a guy when I was in Nashville, and this is back in the mid-90s, and I'm working for the Nashville Knights hockey team, ECHL, same league that, for those of you in Southwest Florida and Jacksonville, listen, as your teams are in now. And there was a guy that was trying to buy the team or wanted to run the team and, thought he had the money, never did. But back then, he had a NASCAR mentality. He's like, I'll sell the back of the pants to Preparation H. I don't care. We need to generate revenue. And, the NHL now, they've got logos on the helmets or corporate sponsors on the helmets. Original 6 teams. It's unseemly. It doesn't look good to me, but I mean, look we jumped in for a month into soccer as a nation. We did. Whether you like soccer, and look it goes away for 4 years. We're not, I laugh because one of the things I did see is MLS thinks they're going to get a big TV deal coming off of this World Cup thing. Are you high? If I'm a network, I'm not spending a dime on your crap league. I'll buy the Premier League 10 times before I'd buy your horrible league.
Have you seen the early returns? They are getting no bump at all.
Well, they got attendance bumps, not TV bumps, but they did they've gotten attendance bumps across the league, David.
Okay, that's good.
Happened. Okay, so but you're right on TV, but attendance figures, and there was a lot of individual ticket promotions and markets, so that's helped. But neither here nor there. But I mean, the number one league in that sport's the Premier League. What do their team logos look like? What do their jerseys look like?
NASCAR.
I mean, it's one sponsor. I mean, General Motors, for crying out loud, was the main sponsor of a Premier League team for a while. It was Man U, right? I think.
I believe so, yeah.
I mean, so it's coming. And the fact that college football, Ohio State and Notre Dame,
right?
This isn't South Florida and James Madison trying to be a player at the table. This is two of the biggest brands, if not the two biggest brands in the sport. David, who moves you follow the TV numbers better than I do. Who moves the needle more than the Irish and the Buckeyes?
Yearly, consistently, no one. Alabama's great teams gets into that ballpark, but if Alabama slips a little bit, like the last couple of years, okay, they fall back behind the Buckeyes and the Irish.
So this, and I didn't really get into it yesterday because it happened during the show, and I hate just jumping into a topic when I don't have all the information in front of me. But all of a sudden around noon, David and I get a text yesterday that Notre Dame basically won up to the Buckeyes. And I was like, holy crap.
And that's
think about it, because there's other teams, David, that have done jersey deals a while ago. And they're probably sitting there going, I only got $4 million for mine. I'm not even in, I mean, I know that I'm not Notre Dame or Ohio State, but I thought I was half. I mean, these are Power 4 schools.
Well, quite frankly, Mark, you're the sales guy of the two of us. Let's just say you're selling the sport of college football, whether it's individually or as a whole. Why would you want to sign long-term contracts? This sport is booming. Okay. Why would you lock yourself in? I mean, if I'm the company that wants to buy the patch, I absolutely want a 5+ year deal. If I'm you selling the patch, 2 years.
Yeah, I think
Top.
five's reasonable, but I think, some of these are trying to get 8 and 10 years. And I'm like, no, not a chance. So it's coming. Look out, Gators. By the way, all right, quick question. Who sells the patch first of the Florida Big Three, even though the third team on the list might be the 5th best football team? Just having fun there. Just having fun there. They're better than South Florida this year. Florida State, Miami, or the Gators? Where would you see a patch first?
Well, I think they're all wanting to sign it tomorrow. I don't think somebody's going to be first because the others are being prudent. I just think they haven't gotten the deal they wanted yet. Florida State.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Because I just think they're desperate.
And they'll end up getting the least amount of money. I mean, we all know the Gators will get the most.
Yes, they will.
And should, by the way. And should. Yeah. If I'm South Florida, by the way, I'm trying to get it done before Florida State does. Just because there's only so many sponsors out there that are doing it. They're going to give you that kind of money. Boy, that's an interesting team. Heartline's got so many new players trying to run a pro-style offense when basically up-tempo is all that's ever worked there. You know what I mean? Trying to do it the way the big boys do it with a group of 5 seems difficult to me, David.
Quarterback's the key. And they got one.
Well, we'll see. I mean, because the guy they had was in Auburn. So,
well, right. Totally different style of offense, so like you said.
So we'll see if their quarterback can play. Working on getting Coach Hartline on here in the next month or so. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening. The Pro Hour.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
we
sound.
started our show 18 years ago and have been fired 3 times, but Miller and Moulton have never lived on the edge like we are now. We have our best morning ratings ever, are steadily adding affiliates, yet we only have a few sponsors. And if that doesn't change, we can't continue. But if you want to advertise on Miller and Moulton, reach out to one of us directly by texting sponsor to 21,000 or contact Mark on X at @MarkMiller or me at @TheDavidMoulton. You can save Miller and Moulton and make your business some serious money by texting 21,000.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Son of a bitch. You want some eggs, Cat? Knock yourself out.
Oh.
No, this thing's broken and it just fell. But the cat scored because the scrambled eggs went everywhere. And the cat's now eating the scrambled eggs. Look at Morgan and Morgan ain't buying the jerseys in Florida, gang.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
Nip and tuck is our poll question of the day. It's National Chicken Wing Day. How do you like your wings? Hot, medium, or mild? I don't know if it's a dead heat. It was a couple of periods ago, but it is close between hot and medium. Close. Vote accordingly. We just had somebody, Mark, chime in the chat room and say he has never been with anyone who's ordered mild wings.
I have. I have.
See,
he's on the other side of the box right there with a rather white background behind him.
right. Kind of like how plain my wings were for a long time. All right. You kind of guilted me up to medium, and I like them.
But that's our poll question. I had an accident during that last break. The daughter brought me up breakfast, and I need a new mic stand. For whatever reason, where the microphone connects, it just falls out occasionally. And while I was eating the eggs, the microphone fell, hitting the plate and knocking the eggs all over the floor. So bad news, no eggs. Good news for the cat, eggs.
Right.
Because the cat enjoyed some scrambled eggs.
You know, it's funny. Sometimes we both think we hear something and we're like, wait a minute, what did he say? I thought you said accident.
Yeah, it was an accident. It wasn't an
Right.
accident. It was an accident.
Right. Wasn't an accident, wasn't an incident. I'm like, did he just say accident? Right. Okay.
It
Well
was.
done.
It was. So that's what's going on around here. A little eggs on the floor, eggs on the floor. Not pants, eggs. And thank goodness it wasn't over easy. The yolk would be tough to get out. Scrambled eggs, not much of a problem there. But we're talking about the jersey patches that the colleges are getting.
Yep.
And as someone said in the chat room, and I agree with them, I think Texas may set the record. I think Texas may end up getting more money than Notre Dame get. I think, but, it'll be interesting. We don't get, we estimate what the Notre Dame deal is. You don't get numbers out of Notre Dame. They're a private school. They don't have to release all this stuff. USC, the LA market. You would think that would be an attractive brand to associate yourself with. And by the way, is there anybody in the Big Ten with more Big Ten media days going on this week? Anybody in the Big Ten with more pressure on them than the Trojans this year?
I don't think so. No. Who, oh, by the way, head coach came out at those media days and said, I love this 2014 playoff idea. Really? Imagine that. Yeah, your boss is the one floating it out there, number one. And number two,
Which, like, there was a list that came out that had the hot seat indicator for the SEC. And Beamer there at South Carolina gets it. We get that. He said it when he got the job. I'm going to get fired. Told my wife that. Everybody at South Carolina gets fired eventually. But I don't even think they have the most pressure on them in the SEC. Like, I think USC's the team, the real USC. For any of you in the South that call South Carolina USC, please stop it. But I think USC is the most pressure on them in the Big Ten. I think Texas has the most pressure in the SEC. I think Texas has the most pressure in the country. Here's Sark, who's not gotten them to where they want to be yet. They've spent the most money. They have this quarterback named Arch Manning, who's the preseason favorite to win the Heisman. And, oh, by the way, it needs to be pointed out that the second half of the season for he and they was good. He wasn't good early. He was good late. If that, they're saying all the right things. I don't even care about the hype. But if he's billed as advertised this year, well, then they're going to do what they're supposed to do. But I mentioned it yesterday, David. It's amazing to me how many people say, well, Texas has the best roster in the SEC, but I'll pick Georgia to win the conference. Well, that's Kirby over Sark, right? I mean, it's got to be.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of scheduling. But in theory, if they both get to the final game, it's picking Kirby over Sark. But hey, Kirby went through it. He couldn't win the big game there. It lasted about an hour and a half. Then he started winning the big games. And now Sark's, he's won some games. He's won some nice games. Hasn't won big games.
So people would point at Lane. Lane always has pressure because it's of who he is. And they gave him a ton of money. But that's, Matt Moscona pointed out yesterday, that schedule, and it's tough. It's tough on the back end. And I can see them being favored in every game until they play Texas. And if they're undefeated at home against Texas, hell, they might be favored in that one. But, he pointed out, I can see that. I also can see 8-4. You got to be right in the portal. He's been right more than he's been wrong.
Now, when you ask, though, who has the most pressure, there's, to me, two answers to that. Pressure is defined as, you could lose your job this year. And then pressure, to me, is defined as, blank. Really? This guy just doesn't look like he's going to get it done. And we're stuck under contract for 5 more years, $23 million. And what the are we going to do?
Like, to your point, David, I thought Cristobal had that last year and he met the challenge. I didn't think he was getting fired, but they had to perform and they did. He fixed his, coaching flaws, got some help, whatever you want to call it. But I think Sark's in that position this year. Like, I don't think he's getting fired. But they expect a lot out of the Longhorns. And to me, it's not just getting in the playoffs. I don't think they have to. Look, you don't have to win the whole thing. I think they need to be one of the final 4 teams for Texas to at least fulfill what is expected.
Oh, Mark, I think he has to win the SEC and get to the title game. Anything less than whatever record that ends up being, whether he's got a 0, right, going through Atlanta and his only loss of the year is in the title game, whatever. But I think Texas says we should win the conference and we should get to the national championship game, whatever happens there, who we're playing, what have you. I think that's the minimum standard that the alumni and fan base has for the Texas team this year. Listen, if you're a Notre Dame fan, let's be honest. CJ Carr coming back. Yeah, you lost the 2 first-round running backs. I could argue the easiest position to replace is running back. Not necessarily at a first-round level, but I could make that argument. Okay? Notre Dame with that schedule and CJ Carr and that coach, by the way. I mean, honestly, don't you think Notre Dame's fan is saying, are you just saying title game or bust or title game win or bust?
Well, Notre Dame to me is the most fascinating team in the country because, as you mentioned, their schedule, but not just their schedule. To me, Notre Dame determines whether the ACC gets multiple teams in the tournament. It can determine whether the Big 12 gets multiple teams in the tournament. I mean, they play SMU, they play Miami, they play BYU. I think Miami's a tournament team. I think SMU and BYU are fringe tournament teams. Does the Big 12 get 2? BYU's got to win that game for that to happen and then lose a title game. SMU, they play there in November. What else happens to them? So, and then the other ACC one I've mentioned is Louisville and Ole Miss week 1. But, right now, to me, it's 3 Big 10 teams, 1 Big 12 team, 1 group of 5, Notre Dame, and then we got to figure out how the rest fall. Does the ACC get 2 and the SEC get the rest, or does the SEC end up with a bunch of bids?
Man, Miller, a lot of high-profile jobs that got changed over last year.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
for today. Although I would like to think that it'll work more than just today. And I'm on both fentanyl and morphine. And I am jacked up.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. This Mark Zinno, Seth Everett, Dr. Roto. Go to millerandmoulton.com and download our earlier guests. millerandmoulton.com is where you need to go to sign up for our Fantasy Football Summit with Dr. Roto. It's in 13 days. Tuesday, August 11th. You want to draft well? You want to make the right decisions during your fantasy football season? He's one of the best in the country. It's documented. This isn't just a couple of guys who know him and like him and see him once or twice a year. I mean, we're bringing in a pro for you. He tells you what he's going to do this year in fantasy football. Here's my cheat sheet. Hands it to you.
It's all we can do for you, trying to make you money any way we can.
Yep. Somebody should make money doing this show.
Right. Good night. You get a little dinner. You get some time with Dr. Roto. Always a fun night. Tuesday, August 11th at the Doubletree where the Shoeless Joe's is, Shoeless Joe Sports Cafe in Fort Myers, Bell Tower Shops. So millerandmoulton.com if I haven't already knocked you over with the text that I sent.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
We start in 1954. The Fellowship of the Ring, the first volume of The Lord of the Rings, was published today. Never read any of them. I don't think that surprises anyone. Stepdad loved them. Today in 57, The Tonight Show premieres on NBC. Jack Parr was the host. 58, Eisenhower signs into law the National Aeronautics and Space Act of 1958, establishing NASA. The Beatles movie Help premiered today in 65. Princess Margaret was in attendance. Today in 66, the first rock show by the band Cream, Eric Clapton, Jack Bruce, and Ginger Baker in Manchester. The Doors' Light My Fire, number one on the Billboard Hot 100 today in 1967. The second article of impeachment against Nixon was approved today by the House Judiciary Committee in 1974. Old Timers Day at Yankee Stadium today in 78, David. They announced that Billy Martin will return as the manager in 1980, and Bob Lemon will become the GM. Also that day, the album that hit number one in the U.S., the soundtrack to Grease.
That movie was big.
Monstrous.
In the summer of 78, that was the summer of 78 on the radio and TV and billboards. And
I saw it twice in the theater. The God's honest truth. Big day for David today in 81. Maybe this is when it started. I don't know. I don't know when it started. I could say it was today because he, along with another billion people in 74 countries, watched Prince Charles marry Lady Diana Spencer, a young English kindergarten teacher's assistant. 2,650 guests and 1 billion viewers worldwide.
people thought this Kelsey Swift thing was big. They had like 1,100 guests. This is 2,650.
Here's what I remember about it. And I don't remember much, but look it's 81. We've got 3 channels, for the love of God. You watch
Right.
is how long the trail of her.
Oh, my goodness.
That's what I remember.
I thought it went from one side of the channel to the other. You're right. It was monstrous.
That's what I remember. She's walking down that carpet, and the trail of that dress didn't get to the wedding until after they said I do.
I felt like you had to go, hey, hey, hey.
Exactly.
Everything okay, okay, okay.
83. MTV has just started, and it's big. So everybody's trying to cash in on videos. It was today in 83 that NBC premiered Friday night videos. I mean, I know it's, generations ago. It's 43 years ago. But I do remember we'd watch. I'm a teenager. So, I mean, I'm watching this show. I remember watching Friday night. Ooh, Friday Night Videos is on tonight. Not like I was out on a Friday night at 11:30.
NBC was in the tank as a network in the early 80s. They were beginning to get some traction on either Tuesday night, I think it was, when wasn't the Cosby Show and Michael J. Fox's show that they were doing
Family
them.
Ties, yeah.
Like they were starting to establish. I thought it was Tuesday, but whatever, that night. And otherwise, the network was in trouble. And on Fridays, they decided, let's go young. And then not only did they come up with the videos right around that time, didn't they come out with Miami Vice? Wasn't 83, 84 right around then? Miami Vice?
That sounds in that wheelhouse. I don't know the year, but you're on to something, because I'm watching reruns by the time I'm in college, because that's literally when I started watching it, when USA Network ran it at like 7 p.m. 87, Ben and Jerry Garcia agree on a new flavor. Cherry Garcia. Still pretty popular today. 89, the Phillies retire number 32 for one Steve Carl.
Lefty.
Today in 91, the Yankee fans have some fun by throwing cups and blow-up dolls at Jose Canseco.
Because it's one of the last times we could say they sucked. What was you say, 91?
Yeah.
I think 92 is their last losing season. Something like that.
Monica Seles defeats Martina Navratilova in her return to tennis after she was stabbed today in 95. She was stabbed in 93. Today in 95 was her return. Lasorda announced his retirement today in 96. And Suni Lee won the all-around after Simone Biles withdraws from the Olympics today in 2021. I don't know if you could have 4 more different people that would have celebrated birthdays. I usually don't include the first one, but I did today. Mussolini, Ted Lindsay, Captain Lou Albino, and Peter Jennings would have all celebrated birthdays today. Man, can you get 4 more different people than that? A wrestling manager, a hockey player, a news anchor, and a fascist.
Right.
Geddy Lee from Rush, out on tour. Videos are great, by the way. Geddy Lee's 73. So is Ken Burns, who did the great documentaries on baseball and the Civil War, for what it's worth. Pepper Johnson, 62. Martina McBride is 60. Dak Prescott is 33. What did I miss, David?
I thought I had something, but then again, I think you nailed it. Oh, Brad Pitt, Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah.
Can't believe that didn't last, really. That's shocking. Kind of like Chuck and Di. I mean, just can't believe those two lovebirds, 12-year age difference.
By the way, what is Pitt that bad of a dad? Because all his kids are dropping his name.
Apparently.
There's like every day there's a new kid that doesn't want that Pitt to be part of his last name.
Right. Now, apparently around her, he's a really bad person. Okay, because, most everyone else is like, but then again, it's Hollywood. Who the hell knows?
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
I had seen this story before the show yesterday and didn't include it in the good and probably should have. Someone brought it up, and I said, maybe tomorrow. And I couldn't find anything, so let's do it. We go to Santa Cruz, California. Video is unbelievable of a 16-year-old lifeguard who rushes in the water to save a young boy. And I mean, the waves are big as he is trying to pull this boy back to the shore. You see monster waves knocking the two of them down. Fortunately, he was able to bring the boy to shore. Some others helped to assist, and one guy took a video of the whole thing.
There you go.
Right. For the bad, we go to Cape Coral, Florida, where police responded to a report of criminal mischief at the park. Two teenagers decided that they were going to blow up some toilets. Apparently, they did about $3,000 worth of damage using explosive devices to blow up toilets. The two juveniles were arrested. They said they used the explosive devices, I guess M80s, inside the toilets, causing extensive damage. Huh. That's interesting because I got to be honest with you. I thought I had an ugly up. And then I went to look, David, and there's not a damn thing there. Let's see if we can do it on the fly. Well, you know, it's not really ugly, but we have a kangaroo on the loose in the States. He's in Missouri. The owner said Rufus the kangaroo escaped. You had a bulldog named Rufus, David.
Yes.
He was spooked by an excavator and he took off. Anybody seen the Missouri kangaroo should contact authorities. And that's a good, bad, and on-the-fly ugly. Brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department, offering great pay, hiring new officers, other jobs available. You know the drill. CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com.
Well, what are we?
Don't know what's
Have to
going on there,
admit,
but
there is something happening with my computer lately where I don't even touch anything and my mic gets muted. It's almost like there's a David Copperfield following me around going, we're going to mute his mic without touching anything.
AI is the son of a gun, David. I just think, you know, sometimes they're sick of hearing from you. We're not.
Well, thank you.
But you're in that room alone a lot, and, you know, they've listened to you a lot. It's like, enough. 9:50, I'm done with you, Moulton.
Well, and I really am lucky that this technology is only recent because, I mean, I've been talking to myself out loud for 30 years, so I would have been muted last century. But anyway, our buddy Semesco, the Atlanta Dream, they're in Dallas, 8 o'clock tonight, USA Network. Okay, if anybody is interested in the WNBA. High noon, Marlins and Phillies, baby. South Florida. All right, doubleheader in New York, Mets and Braves. Obviously big for the Braves. Rays tonight, host another one with the Rangers. Might as well be a mighty nooner in Pittsburgh. Diamondbacks and Pirates. Arizona game ahead of Pittsburgh for the final playoff spot. So, bunch of afternoon games, Mark. Your Tigers play the Orioles at 1 o'clock. So, Yankees, White Sox, Amazon Prime tonight, 7:40.
This is a monster week for so many teams because I literally, you know, here the Marlins lose 12 in a row. Now they beat the Phillies twice. The Phillies need a starting pitcher. We know the Phillies are going to go out and make a move. We know that. I believe the Braves are going to make a move. I think the Yankees are going to make a move. But like the guy I'd been advocating for the Rays to get for a month, Arise, well, it's obvious they're going to move him, and there are multiple teams that need him. This is, you know, David, going back to what we said a month ago. I would totally have made a move 3 weeks ago. And now we're waiting. And you generally, when you wait, what do you have to do? Overpay. And who's going to be willing to do that? You know, there's no timetable for Ohtani. Does that add to the Scooble sweepstakes? And if Detroit wins today, do they have to buy?
Well, we got 5 days. You know, Scooble's got one start left as a Tiger before the trade deadline.
Right.
Okay. You know who else only has one start left? Dylan Cease of the Blue Jays. He's been pitching really well. All right. And in fact, I believe that starts tomorrow.
Yeah, Scooble's today, Cease's tomorrow. Right.
Right. And, you know, my feeling is, what are you waiting for?
With you 100%. Does anything happen today? Afternoon games, maybe the GMs, instead of having a beer after the game, make a trade. We'll find out. Pat Kerwin tomorrow, Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Buying or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move. From pricing your home to negotiating the best deal, I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and the best personal service. That's the difference.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.